What up, y'all? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Figured I'd pop in here today. Chop it up here with y'all. We gonna try to get on up in here swiftly as possible. We're up on multiple platforms, y'all. For those of you that are new to my live platform, look, y'all, I go by Zabo 103. I'm the dude that get on these lives and realistically information that you normally would pay for. If I know it, you're getting it for free. Get this mic down here, y'all. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Let's see. I'm gonna try to get this thing popping, y'all. Last couple of days, I've been kind of kicking it a little bit, chilling, doing some more brainstorming, trying to make sure that everything that I've been trying to put into place, it's been getting into place. Shout out to all the platforms that we're up and running at. If you're new to my live though, it's your first time on here. Maybe you were sent by somebody. Put a one in the chat or type new in the chat. Let's do something a little bit different. If you're new to my live, type new in the chat. What's up, family? I want to see, who all we have on here that's new. Just to see if we need to backtrack just a little bit. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like, we do got a couple of new people here. We have roughly about 200 here, only 9 there, 100 there. We have roughly about 800 people on the live right now. And we got a lot of new people here. So let me take the time to introduce myself very quickly, y'all, and we're gonna get the rolling. Again, y'all, I go by Zabo 103. I get on these platforms and information that you normally would pay for from a coach, a mentor, a coach. Appreciate you, Chaz. From a coach, I give it to y'all for free. It just seemed like the right thing to do, y'all. If you're looking for a person that got a whole bunch of credentials, I don't have no credentials, y'all. I'm just a dude on the internet that figured some things out. I figured out how to get into this mysterious 1% that everybody talk about. And the scary part about this conversation is I get on these live platforms and I just give it to y'all for free. It is what it is. The things that you think these 1%ers, I would say, gatekeep, y'all, I just give it up. And the reality of it is what I realized with those people that are in this top 1%, they don't be gatekeeping either, y'all. They're just not on social media. Social media is a platform where they take a special type of person to be on it. I was on social media before I entered into those rooms, and I'm on social media after the fact. So I figured since I'm on here, I got people following me, I got people listening to me. I'll just share what I hear. It doesn't matter. In the process of me sharing what I hear, I also share the things that I do. So a lot of times you're gonna hear me say things on these live platforms. You can be like, wait a minute, you can't do that. Y'all, I'm only talking about the things that I do. I can't tell you something that I haven't done. Um, I'm not a college educated brother. I barely got a high school diploma. I'm the dude that figured out how to sneak into corporate America and become an executive. I worked at Bank of America for 20 years as an executive, y'all, without a college degree. Now, it doesn't mean much of anything, the title. I know a lot of people like, you was an executive at Bank of America? Yeah, it was probably a big deal to a lot of people, y'all. But to me, I didn't care, y'all. The most impressive part about that is I was the only person at my level not to have been to college at all. That was more impressive to me. And it was interesting that as I was at the bank, I was doing things that most people wouldn't even imagine that could be done. So let me give you an example. I was responsible for the small business credit card department for Bank of America on the collection side of the house. Yep, you heard me, on the collection side of the house. I was responsible for 459 people directly, indirectly. When you all will hear the loss number for Bank of America small business credit card, I was the person reporting the numbers to the street. If that puts that in perspective. If you are a person that worked at Bank of America, you'll understand this next lingo. So you know I'm not making this stuff up. Bank of America have bands. They're called bands, B-A-N-D, bands with the S on it, right? So they have different band levels, right? The lower the band is, the higher up the food chain you are, allegedly. Brian Moynihan, who is the CEO of Bank of America, is a band 0. His directs are band 1s, their direct reports are band 2s, their direct reports are band 3s, their direct reports are band 4s, and so forth. Just go all the way down. That band level go all the way up to a band 27. Now, you're going to have people that work in banking. They're going to tell you, I'm an officer of the bank. They're going to tell you things like, I'm an assistant vice president, or I'm a VP at the bank. I was an SVP at the bank. I don't know if that means nothing to anybody, but let me just go back to this band thing because that makes more sense, right? Remember, the CEO is a band 0. I was a band 4. It goes all the way to band 27. Think about what I just shared. So when I'm talking about certain things, especially when it comes to the bank, y'all, I'm not guessing. I was there for 20 years. In the inside, looking at things, listening, paying attention, trying to see how I can apply certain things in my life so I can win. If that gives you a little bit more insight. Now, that's not really a credential. It's just experience, right? Quantitative and qualitative, right? Choose which one is important to you. The next thing I would say is, I used to be that dude that bragged about making 6 figures a year. In fact, I made a couple 6 figures a year at Bank of America. I was what they call a big dog, you know, a real big dog. I used to brag like a mule, telling people, man, I make a couple $100,000 a year. You couldn't tell me now. You just couldn't, y'all. When I decided to stop fighting for somebody else's last name that I ain't never met and start fighting for my own, things started to shift when I was at the bank. I made a conscious decision to retire from the bank when I made my yearly salary in a month. I'm going to say it again for the people that didn't hear me. I made a conscious decision to leave the bank when I made my yearly salary in a month. Why am I sharing the money aspect of it? Because that's what y'all want to hear. Y'all want to get your attention snatched, right? And when anybody starts talking about money, you gravitate to it. Why? Because everybody got this dream of becoming financially free. It just is what it is, y'all. So I'm explaining the money side of it so you can understand that I gotta know something. Think about what I just said. Most people, they go and get a bag and they brag about the bag that they get in. And what do? They retire themselves. And they live happily ever after. Now, when I went and got an AKA bag, I retired my wife. Now I was supposed to do that, right? When I got a bag, I retired my brother. Why would you retire your brother? Because he's my brother. I retired my sister. Why did you retire your sister? Because she's my sister. I couldn't retire my mom. God rest her soul. She been gone for a minute. That's the only thing in my life that I wish that I could have had more time to be able to retire my mom and do all the things we say we're going to do when we go get a bag, you know, buy your mom a house and cars and, you know, all the nonsense, right? The reason why I'm sharing this is simply this. I'm no different than anybody that's on any of these lives, y'all. There's nothing spectacular about me. The only thing that is slightly different, it's a little slight difference. And it's not something that's difficult that you can't do. And it's simply thinking, doing a little bit of research, and taking action. That's the only thing that separated me from still being at the bank, talking about one day I'm going to have my own business. One day I'm going to work for myself. One day money ain't going to ever be an issue. We're going to have all the things that we want. That was the only thing that separated me. That's the only thing that separates you. You believe that you need to network and partner with everybody on this planet in order for you to become something. And I'm here to tell you that the only people that you need right now in order for you to be what's your definition of success is yourself and the people that you say you care about and love the most. That's it. Anybody outside of your bloodline, for the most part, you don't need. And I know this ain't nothing that you normally would hear, but I'm just telling you from a person that ain't going to none of these galas, from a person that ain't going to trying to network with nobody, from a person that don't care one way or the other. I can be in the house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, twice on Sundays. Only people you need is you and the people in your bloodline that you say you care about and love the most. This how simple this process is. I know y'all be seeing all these amazing movies with all these wealthy people going and doing a 5 a.m. run in the morning, looking at their portfolio, putting on their suit, and heading to the office to go to work. Y'all, it's an illusion. It ain't real. Wealthy people don't go into the office, y'all. It don't exist, y'all. It's not a real thing, y'all, because wealthy people understand they don't trade time for money. They trade money for time. The other thing I'm going to share to you is that you feel like you pay for what you get. You feel like you have to work hard for everything that you want because that's what you've been told. And I'm here to tell you it's the complete opposite. You don't have to work hard for anything that you want. You just don't. It ain't about who you know. Well, let me take that back. It is about who you know. And the person that you need to know is yourself. It's amazing to me that the majority of the people on this planet don't even use 5% of their brain. The majority don't even use 5% of their brain. Imagine if you use 1% more of your brain power. You know how much stuff you're going to unlock? It's an unreal situation, y'all. So what I'm going to do today is this. As y'all can see in the title, what if you did? And I know they don't make much sense to you. And remember, y'all, I'm not college educated. I barely got a high school diploma. So sometimes I'm going to say things that may not make sense at the gate. But I promise you, if you stick around and pay attention, it'll start to click. But what if you did start taking steps to start your own thing, your own business, your own journey, your own processes? What if you did do it? That's a question. I'm going to take you all through a journey on how you can do what you need to do right now so you never have to worry about money again for the rest of your life. And I'm going to do it for, guess what, y'all? Drum roll, for free. These things that I'm gonna go over, I've went over them 100 million times, y'all. And I'm gonna keep going over them 100 million more times until more people start to click for it. It just is what it is. The gift about these things that I'm going over, you can start doing these things today and start getting results. It's not like the courses that you bought. Them courses still sitting on your shelf on there somewhere, collecting dust. You done paid $100 for it, $200, thousands, whatever you done spent for it, and you ain't got that return on investment yet. Which ain't an important getting a return on investment. Getting that ROE is better than that ROI. Getting that return on energy is probably more important. It's just a thought. So we're gonna go over some things. I know we got a couple of people in my live right now that have, reached out to me about different things from talking about trust. We're gonna talk about that today. We're gonna talk about credit a little bit today. We're not gonna go into too much depth on credit, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit. We're gonna talk about steps you can do while you at your job today. We also gonna talk about what you need to do once you get out of your job and start doing your own thing. And then we're gonna talk about when you get in a position of true financial freedom, which everybody say they want that, right? We're going to talk a little bit about what you probably should be doing. Ironically, all these different things all have the same secret. And that same secret is the same secret to anything you're trying to accomplish in life. You got to think, you got to do research, and you got to take action. This is how you're going to win, boys and girls. So I hope y'all catch that. So let's start here, y'all. First thing first. Today is Sunday. Tomorrow you have to go to work. We've talked about going to work and what work looks like and how it is and how you don't like it. And you got to step out on faith and yada, 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 fear and the whole 9 yards. Okay, we get it. You're not going to do nothing. Let's talk about how you take steps at work to get you comfortable with doing what you need to do. Are you going to say this live? Yep. All this is actually being recorded right now on YouTube at Zabo 103. So this entire live will be at Zabo 103. As soon as I end the live, it's automatically going to be on there up under the live section. All right. So check this out. And let's just make sure we all on the same page. The very first thing you need to do, obviously, you got to get in your head that you got to start thinking, y'all. Now, I know that's like oxymoron, but I guess, right? You got to get in your head. You got to get in your head, people, because you got to think. Get in your head and start thinking. Think about all the different things that you want to do in life and just dream about how this would be if you did this, how this would be if you did that. Dream how big you want to dream. It is what it is. I don't care how unrealistic the dream is. I don't care if you seem like it's not real at all. Just dream and just think how things would be. That's what you need to do while you're working your job. Because the biggest thing that your job has accomplished is putting you in a position where you don't think. They did a study on animals, right? That says animals are in what's called a survival mode, right? And the study showed that when these animals, just like animals, right? When animals are in survival mode, they don't think. Well, we're animals too, boys and girls. And being that we're animals, when we're in survival mode, you're not thinking. Everything you're going to do from today for the rest of your life, if you don't change the way you think, it's on autopilot. You already know right now, somewhere today, the time is a little bit after 2 o'clock right now. You already had planned what you were doing at 2 o'clock on autopilot already. By a certain time tonight, you're going to be on autopilot to do what? Get ready for bed, maybe get ready to watch your shows, get prepared for the week, whatever. You on autopilot. You got an alarm clock that's waking you up in the morning, but you automatically waking up, depending on how the sun hits your head when you wake up. You automatically waking up. And if you have to get up before the sun is up, you can tell how the moon is aligned on autopilot when you need to wake up. The only reason why I'm saying this is your job has done an amazing job of preventing you from thinking. You have been in survival mode the whole time. I can tell you the minute I started thinking, was at Bank of America. Bank of America lost an employee. You got to think, y'all. You got to think, y'all. I hope you get this. I hope you get this. Hope y'all got that. So the very first thing is you got to dream and think. Now, as you go into work, those are a whole bunch of different distractions because you got to perform. Because if you're not performing, you ain't got no job, right? So you don't really have time to really dream and think when you at work because you're getting paid to do a job. So one of the things that I did that I encourage you to do is turn your job into school. All y'all are educated for the most part, right? Y'all got college degrees. Y'all know y'all went to school. Y'all focused. Y'all studied. Y'all remembered everything y'all needed to remember so y'all can pass them tests so y'all can actually get that degree, right? Well, this is no different, y'all. When you go to work, you're getting educated on how to do business. So you got to start learning beyond just your performance, but you got to take your performance into the next level. I'm going to give you an example on what I mean. No matter what your job is, in your mind, you're going to start a business doing what you do for your job for yourself. That's how you're going to eliminate that 2-year learning curve when you start your business. So what all do you want to learn? You know your job like the back of your hand. You know how to interact with customers, escalate situation. You know how to do all these different things, and those things are on autopilot. Well, we're going to take it to the next level, and we're going to look at things like tonalities. What different tonalities are out there? When should you use them? On which customers should you use these? At which time should you use these different tonalities with your direct reports or with your upper management? All this stuff matters, y'all. You're going to learn everything you need to learn about your job. You're going to become a true expert on it to the point that you're going to start loving your job because you want to know everything about it. When you and your managers have one-on-ones, performance reviews, whatever, start getting to know about your manager's role and what they do. Not to set them up. Not to set them up. You're trying to learn what your manager do because when you eventually get out and start taking steps on your own thing, the managerial part of that job is going to become a part of your business. You want to learn what your manager does. You want to start to understand payroll. You want to start to really understand the medical process. What does these health benefits look like? How much money does my job pay towards my medical benefits? Why does my job give me a free insurance policy? How much are they paying for these insurance policies? We go through an HR department whenever we have situations that happen. What is that HR process? You're trying to learn everything you need to learn about your job because it's your business. I hope y'all picking this up. What is that going to do while you're learning all this stuff for your job while you're there? It's going to make you way better at your job than everybody around you. And being that it's going to make you way better than the people around you, you automatically going to continue to get that tap on the shoulder for that promotion. When those raises come out, you're going to get the highest raise possible. We know this stuff is pennies, but it don't matter. While you there, you want every penny that you can get because you're learning. This is how this stuff works. I know when I was at Bank of America, I was on an uphill battle because I was from Decatur, Georgia. Barely could speak English. I ain't have no college degree. I had to outwork a language barrier. I had to outwork these people that had good high school GPAs. I had to outwork these people that had college degrees. I had to outwork people that graduated magna cum laude, whatever it is, summa cum laude. Think about this stuff. The way I did it was I engulfed myself into Bank of America business. So no matter what their education was, they didn't know that business better than me because I understood that one day this business was going to be my type of business. You got to put that in your head. No matter how many degrees you got, or don't have, you got to engulf yourself in your business, people. I hope y'all caught that. As time went on, and I got really, really good at engulfing myself into this Bank of America business, and the higher I went up in levels, the harder it got. You talking about a person that barely could speak English. Now I got to do a presentation. Now I got to speak in front of hundreds of people, and I barely can articulate what I need to articulate. Now I got to make sure not only am I articulate enough for these hundreds of people that I got to share this message with, I got to speak to them at a level where they're at. Because I can't get super articulate and speak above their head because they're not going to complete what I'm asking them to complete. So now I got to speak in a way articulate enough so I don't lose people by me sounding AKA ignorant, but speak in a way that they understand so I can get my message across so we can keep it going. I hope y'all catching this stuff. This is why I'm at work. I'm working for somebody else's last name. I had to encompass all these things. I would have never believed that when I started business, I was going to be using all those very same things. There's not nothing in business that I use at Bank of America that I don't use in one of my 9 businesses that I have. I hope y'all caught that. So you're not going to work to become a brown noser. No. You're not doing that. You're going to work to start grooming yourself for the business that you're saying you're going to create, whatever that business may be, y'all. Whatever that business may be, you're going through a school of business in real life, and they pay you a fraction to do it. That's the truth. When I got real comfortable with doing this type of activity at work, I started to get a little bit bold. My peers would ask me, what's the next thing you're doing after this position? I'm like, this is the last job I would ever have at the bank. If you retire, even better. We'll talk about that too. People started asking me what I'm going to do after this position. Am I going to go to a different position? Am I going to do that? Am I going to do this? At this time, when they started asking me that, Bank of America would send me to different vendors, right? We had call centers all throughout the US. I hope y'all get this, right? And they had me in an AKA vendor manager role. So I would go out and manage the vendors, traveling to different states. California, Hawaii, North Carolina, Delaware, South Dakota, Texas, Florida, man, all over the place. I'm just the ones I can think of out the gate. Think about that for a second. When I would travel for the bank, it was a little bit different. Why? Because when I would show up to these different vendors, they don't work for Bank of America. They're contractors. I'm the representative for Bank of America. When I get there, they rolling out the red carpet. So I'm always getting their best, right? Think about this for a second, y'all. Think about this for a second. How was I still going to learn business for people rolling out the red carpet and me not seeing the real so I can dissect it to start making these things work? We're going to talk about all that. Don't worry, y'all. We're going to be here for a minute. Y'all sit tight. I promise you we're going to get to a lot of that stuff. What I realized was very quickly that the bank would send me to these places and I wouldn't have to pay for nothing. The only thing I had to bring was me some clothes and myself. I'm going to say that again. The bank would send me to all these places, and the only thing I would have to pay for is my clothes and bring myself. I already had clothes. It's easy for me to show up. Bank of America would pay for my gas from my house to the airport, pay for my flight, pay for my car rental, pay for my hotel, and pay for all the food while I was on those business trips. That was a full-fledged education for me. I can remember my secretary telling me, if you spend more than $75 at one shot, just make sure you bring back the receipt. I was like, well, what is on the card? Well, the bank want to make sure they have the receipts for what you spent your money on, outside of just the statement. Okay. I would have my receipts from where I spent over $75, and guess what would happen? She would submit it for me in a system called Concor. I'm giving y'all details so y'all know I'm not making this stuff up. And the receipt had to match the charge to the penny. And the bank will expense it. Now, how does that work in your business? When you get into business, you're no longer taking vacations, people. You're going on business trips. What does that mean? The bank paying for what? Your flight, your car rental, your hotel, your food. That's what I got from the bank. I can't make that up if I wanted to. I did vendor management work for probably about 2 years. 2. I got done doing the vendor management work, got back into the local sites, and it was a different ball game just being back in the sites because I'm used to the bank paying for my travel. I'm used to being able to expense all this food and all this different stuff. So that means I ain't have to buy lunch. That's what I was used to. Think about that for a second. So my direct boss at that time, my direct manager, would tell me, hey, look, I don't know what it is about you, but you're a very relatable person. We want to start sending you on events so you can host it for some of our potential clients and some clients, and you're going to take some employees with you. And I was like, well, what am I going to be doing? I was like, yeah, well, just different things. He said, every time, he said, I didn't ask almost every other person to do this, and they, these different events, and they don't be wanting to do it. And I'm like, well, why you think I want to do it? That's what's in my head. But in my mind, I'm saying, let me take the opportunity because maybe it's something else I can learn. The very first event we went to was Birthday Bash. Now, if you in Georgia, you understand what Birthday Bash is. If you're in other states, you understand what Birthday Bash is. It's a concert. Rappers, singers, whole 9 yards. Every year they have a birthday bash. Bank of America have a suite for a birthday bash. So when I get these tickets, I know exactly what they are. I get to go myself, and I got 26 tickets. And I'm thinking to myself, I got these 26 tickets. Is the clients, what are they tickets? We already gave your clients the tickets. Okay. You need to give some employees tickets that you're going to take with you to help you host. Okay. We get down at a birthday bash. Me, 26 employees throughout the entire site. Few clients show up. And we down there conducting business in the Bank of America suite, listening to Gucci Mane, listening to Lil Wayne, listening to Nicki Minaj. We conducting business in a Bank of America suite for birthday bash. And I just got a host. All the food in there is free. All the drinks in there is free. Blew my mind, y'all. I said, how can I add this to my business repertoire? I want y'all to get this because I'm going somewhere major. Fast forward, I'm going back and forth, y'all, so stay with me. Fast forward, y'all see me and my wife conduct a business meeting. At the Erykah Badu concert. We on the front row, and we got a suite in State Farm Arena with 30 people that can show up. Uh-oh. It's a business expense, y'all. Going back, I'm back at the bank. Every Braves games we at, I'm hosting in the suites. Every Falcon game, I'm hosting in the suites. Every Hawks game, I'm hosting in the suites, conducting business for Bank of America. Fast forward, you see me and my wife bring 30 people to the Atlanta Falcons and Washington Commander football game to do what? Conduct business. Think. Let's go back to Bank of America. While I'm inside of Bank of America, I want to take y'all back to a time of 2008. Back in 2008, the movie that most of y'all have saw called Too Big to Fail, I was at Bank of America when that stuff was happening. I can remember Ken Lewis having to take that trip. That was the CEO of Bank of America at that time. I can remember that. I can remember getting the news that Bank of America was about to acquire Countrywide, this huge mortgage company that had committed all these crazy acts. I can remember when Lehman Brothers went under. I was at the bank when this stuff was happening. I also can remember, and it didn't click back then in 2008. It didn't click back in 2008 for me. But fast forwarding it up to today's time, it clicks now. I can remember when that TARP money was given out. I can remember when it was given out. And they was talking about the biggest concern that they had, and they wanted to put something down to enforce that it would happen, that the banks were going to lend the money out that they were giving. They even mentioned it in the movie. That's what made it crazy. When I saw it in the movie, I said, dang, that's insane. Because I can remember chatters when I was at work of them saying, man, we about to get all this money, even though Bank of America didn't need no money. Bank of America was one of the banks that was good, but they understood that if these other financial institutions fail, Bank of America was going to fall right with it. But I remember chatters to them saying all this money that the bank was going to get, and their only concern was they wanted to make sure they lent the money out. I remember that. I was there for it. Fast forward to today. People on this planet, and I get they wasn't inside of the bank, so I get it. They may not understand it, so I'm gonna say it out loud. 99.5% of people, well, actually 95%, 99.95% of the people on this planet think the bank is a holding facility. There are people out there like me that understand the bank is a lending institution. Their purpose is to lend money, people. I remember these things. Now, it didn't make sense to me back then in 2008. It makes sense to me today. But I'm engulfing this information. It's me thinking over the years, researching. And then with the information that I have and I figured out, now I'm taking action. Let's go back to Bank of America. I hope y'all stay with me because this stuff is, I don't think I ever shared this stuff this way on social media. So hopefully y'all catch y'all agree with what I'm saying, or y'all keeping up what I'm saying. Let me say it that way. Fast forward to me being this big dog of an executive at the bank. I would have people come in my office for hours, and just sit and talk. And we would just talk about everything, life. We would talk about all type of stuff. They only supposed to be me for me 30 minutes. They end up for 2 hours, but we just end up talking. I'll make sure your manager update your time. I can remember vividly having this young man in my office every Friday. And I'm not going to say too much about him because just due to different situations that he had going on, and I will never share that with anyone. But he was one of those employees that leadership, for the most part, they didn't necessarily want to be around him, and they didn't have a reason to let him go. And one of the things was that he got in trouble one time at the job. And I'm not going to say what he got in trouble for, but he got in trouble one time at the job. And one of the things that they put in his file was, as long as he was at the bank or I was at the bank, he would have to come and meet with me every Friday, like I was some form of a counselor or therapist. It was scary, y'all. And this wasn't no little guy. It wasn't no little guy at all. He was a pretty big dude. Ex-football player, not for the NFL and like that, but he played football in high school and college at a high level too. And people were afraid of this guy. They were. Now, I ain't have no fear of me because I've been around big guys before. I don't care nothing about that. I'm just a different type of dude. Stuff like that don't bother me. But I can remember me and him talking, and every Friday, like clockwork, he would look forward to coming to my office so we could sit and talk. And I always would tell his manager, look, our time gonna automatically go over because he can talk and I can talk. So he gets off work at 5 o'clock. I leave at 5 o'clock. Here's what we're gonna do. We're going to schedule his meeting every single Friday at 4 o'clock. Because I know at 5 o'clock, he ain't going to want to stick around. He ain't getting paid. And I'm going to tell him flat out, hey, I got to go. We will be sitting there talking for hours, y'all, about life, about, things he was going through, experience I've had, advice that he may have been given, advice I may have been given. And I can remember telling him, because he had this thing of, man, y'all ain't never gonna promote me, man. I want to get promoted. And I remember telling him, write down this formula. Every time you come to my office and we have this meeting, you need to tell me all the things that you put into play with this formula. Y'all heard this formula before. And it's P plus R equals A. The letter P plus the letter R plus or equals the letter A. And that's performance plus relationships equal advancement. Why is that formula important? Your job have embedded in your head how much you need somebody else. How much it is truly about who you know versus what you know. Your job has done that. I don't care what company you in. I was engulfed in it, y'all. Your job tell you need to go network. Build those relationships. Your performance matter, and then you can get ahead because it's not what you know, it's who you know. I don't know a company that don't promote that. Why are they promoting that? They're making you dependent. I can remember this cat telling me flat out. I can remember him telling me, I ain't networking with nobody. I don't need them. If my performance is good and I work on how to relate and influence people, I should get those same advancement. And I used to tell them all the time while I was there, that ain't how it works, family. You got to build a relationship with the upper managers. Man, I ain't trying to brown nose. This what he was telling me. Now, I knew in the back of my mind, this cat ain't never getting promoted. Why? People are intimidated by him. He don't have the ability to influence nobody, and he got somewhat of a temper. Why am I saying that? You still have to use that process in your business. Even though it's not about who you know, it is truly about what you know. You got to be able to build relationships with your customers. The people at the top of the food chain can't really do much for you. Let me not say they can't do nothing much for you. They not going to do much for you. They have no way of doing anything for you because they're doing it for themselves. The people that are going to be doing the most for you is going to be your customers. So when you're building these relationships, you're not trying to build a relationship with this big guy at the bank that got a executive title. You're not trying to be at these galas and build relationships with these people that are, in high places. Who cares? You're building relationships with your customers because those are the people that are going to lift you up. Even when those top dogs push you down, they're going to keep pushing you up. I don't think people understand that. I can get on live every day of the week and I can say some off the wall stuff, and somebody super educated can come in here and give me the business. Who keeps pushing me up? The people. Those are your customer. Your customers are the people you need to build relationships with. You need to understand what they like, what they don't like, because you're going to be catering to them. You need to understand, what's real that's going down in these places with the average Joe. These are the people that are going to be purchasing your products and your services. Back then, I didn't understand that. Fast forward to today, that's what kept me getting promoted, y'all, the people. Why am I saying that? I was such a relatable person and my performance was amazing. I was able to influence them to do whatever I needed them to do because they believed in me. So even when upper management was like, we can't hire him, he don't have a college degree, the people kept showing up, putting up results that these other leaders could not even come close to matching. I can remember times having units where the units would be performing great. And they would take another leader, which would be my peer, and move that leader into that group where I was at and move me to their group where their group wasn't performing. My old group still would perform at the level that they were performing at. They weren't just slacking all the way off, but this new group that I would get would outperform the old group. They started to put the pieces together that it was me. You get it? P plus R equals A. When you're at your job, you need it. Your performance and the relationships you build, not just with upper management, with all levels. That goes all the way down to the person cleaning the toilet. Shout out to Pablo. He don't know form of social media. Pablo was teaching me Spanish while I was at the bank. Now, I ain't learned a lot of Spanish because I really wasn't paying attention. I just wanted to know some of the smaller things, like como está? Muy bien, gracias, ¿y tú? Oh, I'm muy casado. can't go no further than that. Think about what I'm saying, y'all. Everybody matters. But you're not building relationships with these people so they can give you something. Listen, when you're putting out stuff, just genuinely putting stuff out. Just genuinely putting stuff out. Y'all, that stuff coming back. That stuff coming back, y'all. It just is what it is. Let's get up to date a little bit. We still at the bank. Let's get out of the bank a little bit. When I started making moves to say that I was about ready to start getting up out of the bank, y'all, I started doing almost every type of business you can think of. I started the toilet paper company because I wanted that to kind of roll. That had been on my mind for some years. This is way before the pandemic. I started wholesaling properties. I got really back heavy into wholesaling properties. I started messing with apartment complexes. I start anything you can think of. I'm like, I'm just gonna get out here. I was day trading. Anything you can think of, I was messing with cryptocurrency. Anything you can think of, I was getting active in those situations. Why? Because I said to myself, whatever sticks, that's what I'm going with, because I can't keep working for somebody else's last name and I ain't never met them before. I just couldn't do it, y'all. And that's just me. Why am I sharing that with you? There are things that you're talented at right now today, and you do it regardless if you get paid or not. That's your gift. And somebody said on one of my lives before, your gift will make a way. I believe that's true. If you start focusing on your gift, your hobby, the thing that you do all the time, turn it into a business. Turn your hobby, turn your gift into a business and watch what it do. That's just me. It's on YouTube, Zabo 103 for sure. I want y'all to think about that for a second. This is going to sound crazy when I say this, y'all. I didn't have a gift. I can't call me being a hustler a gift. I don't know how to knit. I don't play no sports. I mean, I play sports, but not in a professional setting. I'm not college educated. I ain't have no gifts. I can fix a Rubik's Cube, but I'm not the fastest person at it. Think about what I'm saying, y'all. Turning that problem into a profit. We about to go there. I ain't have no gifts. So I thought. My gift was I got an amazing memory. I really got an amazing memory. It was like, I don't know how I got it, but I have an amazing memory. I worked in the Kennesaw site, Bank of America, at the corporate site in Kennesaw. That was 1,315. It was 1,315 in that site. 1,315 people in that site. Unless somebody was new to the bank, if I walked past you, I was speaking. If you ever told me your name, I always remembered your name. So I can walk up to a person, meet them once, they tell me their name, and whatever they tell me about themselves, I was able to remember. So the next time I see them, I can say, "Hey, John, how you doing? How them boys doing, man? I know they were down. They were doing karate. How they doing in karate? I know last time you told me your son hadn't got your oldest son got a black belt. Your youngest son was working on the brown belt. I can tell them that. But every person that I ever had an interaction with, and I got their name and they told me anything, I always remember them. It's a gift and a curse, y'all, because some stuff you don't want to remember. Watch this. Now we can put it to the test a little bit. There are thousands of people that come through my lives on all these platforms. When I see their names pop up, or they name in their picture, if they don't change their picture, right? They name in their picture, and they tell me something about them, I can remember them. Y'all ain't noticed that when people pop up? What's going on with such and such? Oh, I remember you. You were the person that came, blah, 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 blah. Why? Why am I able to do this? It was one of the gifts that I had that I didn't know. Think about that for a second. Why is that important? It's important because it's going to help you continue to build relationships. You know how powerful it is for you to actually meet with someone. You meet with them one time, you tell them a little bit about yourself, something close to you, heartfelt, and you meet up with that person again, and they ask you how that situation going, is everything good? Are you, and not from a place of just saying it just to be saying it, but coming from a genuine place. You know how that make people feel? It's crazy. I was responsible for 459 people directly and indirectly when I was at the bank. There was not one person that I was responsible for directly or indirectly that I did not have some form of a relationship with, where we connected to where if I seen them today, I can talk to them and have a conversation and still understand what's going on with them, all the way down to their kids' ages. Just think about what I'm saying for a second, y'all. Watch this. You said the Federal Reserves. What about it? What's the question? So think about that for a second, y'all. Just think about that for 1 second. How did I get this muscle moving to remember these things? Well, I can remember before I got into management, we used to have to go in front of the executives at the time. This is when I very first got in the bank. And we had a report called the TBT report. And it basically was all the loss numbers on the report. And we had to go through, that report was updated every single Tuesday. We had to go through and not only read the report, we had to dissect the report and make projections on where we're going to end with loss numbers based off of historical data, things that the bank had done in the past. And I used to be so eager to go in there and do it. And it wasn't because I was excited about the numbers. I don't think I really cared too much about the numbers. I was more excited about, I got all these people in here. What's up, family? That then graduated from college, and they scared to go in front of the executive because if you say the wrong thing, he gonna rip you to shreds. So I always would go in there and go first. Go on and rip me to shreds. But I knew they could rip me to shreds because I had to remember everything that was on the actual report. I can go through it with my eyes closed. And I had remember all the historical data. So when I went in there, I just started talking two things, even down to the simplest format. We used to have queues where this historical data would convert into each different customer in these queues. Now, I'm saying this for this reason. So I would give a projection on where we're going to end from a loss number for that current quarter or that month or whatever we're doing. And I would come on a hundreds of millions of dollar portfolio. I would come within 50, 60, $100 to the number. One time I went in there and the executive asked me, your numbers always be so close. How do you know this? I was like, well, I went through the queues and I kind of saw what was in there. I do that every day in there. I want to see what was in there. You ain't went through all those accounts. That's 75,000 accounts. That's 75,000 accounts. There's no way you didn't went through 75,000 accounts. I said, I have. Well, talk to me about some of these customers. Well, I can tell you Dr. Johnson owned a car dealership. He been selling Porsches, Range Rovers, Jags. He got a credit line of $342,000. And he's over his limit by $10,000 right now today. Now, he's going to get a couple of late fees. We already know, but he ain't going no more than 30 days past due because he don't want it to hit no form of his credit. So he's gonna use that grace period every time to pay it. So last month he missed the actual payment. This month he's gonna pay. That account for it. I can tell you, Dr. Smith, he just did an upgrade on his facility that he has. He got a $650,000 credit line. He's never used his credit line for the most part. He only using it to do what he got to do with his facility. He gonna make the money back to pay it. I know he paying his account. And I'm going down all these different accounts. And as I'm going through it, this executive ain't just buying what I'm saying. He started pulling up the actual accounts. Think about what I just said. So when I'm saying to you, you got to start going in, learning your business. You got to learn it because it's your business. Think. So when I made the transition to step outside of Bank of America and truly start working for my last name and not my first, even though I wasn't the person sending people toilet paper, I can tell you the customers that were with me from day one. I can tell you what that demographic looks like. I can tell you, like, all this stuff is connected. Now, you may not work at a bank. You may work doing something else. All this stuff still apply, y'all. All this stuff still matters. It's just business. Think about what I'm saying, y'all. These are things that you really got to start processing in real life. So it's no longer, man, I just got to step out on faith. It's none of that. It's going to become, man, me going inside Bank of America, I'm losing more money by going to work than not. When I started getting to the point of calculating my last couple of days at the bank, man, if I go to work today, this is how much money I'm going to lose. It blew my mind. I can remember being in a meeting, and I don't want to say his name because I'm a Robert. I'm just gonna say it. It is what it is. Robert, shout out to you if you're on my live. I know you be on my live sometime, but shout out to you. And if you're on my live, please comment so people know I'm not making this up. But I remember you asking me, "Hey man, you know we you know it's when you gonna how long you gonna be at the bank?" And I told him flat out, this may be my last month at the bank. Tonight, I'm going to do the calculations of what I'm going to generate this month. And if my calculations say that I'm making more than my yearly salary, which means if I come to work, I'm going to lose money, I ain't going to show up. And he said, man, you tripping. That night, when I went to bed, I did that calculation. I wasn't at my yearly salary. I wasn't. That morning when I woke up, I was at my yearly salary. I left the bank that day. I want to put that back into perspective. I had the conversation with him that night. So I know when my direct manager came out and said, y'all, I want to let y'all know that Xavier, he's decided to explore other opportunities outside of the bank. He was like, oh, I can put my last dollar. He was like, God, he did his calculation. He did exactly what he said. Oh my goodness, how does this happen? Y'all, that took preparation for me to get there. He didn't know I didn't hit my number that night, and I ain't hit it till the next morning. Think about what I just said. I can remember some of my peers. Now, this one is going to get kind of touchy. I can remember my peers asking me, they started wanting us to have, man, I can't say it on social media. They want us to have conversations that a lot of people at my level weren't comfortable with having with employees. And I remember getting out of that meeting. And one of my peers called me and was like, hey, we got to have this conversation. What are your thoughts about having this conversation? I'm like, well, they told us we're gonna go through the training like in 6 weeks. And I'm already gonna talk to our boss at this time. And I'm gonna tell him that he needs to have that conversation because I just don't feel comfortable having that conversation with all my direct report. I just don't. That was just me. It's like, well, you're gonna get a lot of feedback about it. I'm like, I don't really care. I ain't gonna be able to do it. And I never forget what she asked me. She said, these type of conversations are gonna happen more and more. They're gonna happen more and more. And I remember her saying, what's gonna happen? What's up, Nate? Virgin Island, Nate be everywhere, y'all. Shout out to you, Nate. I remember her saying, what happens when the next conversation happens? What's up, family? And you don't want to do it. I said, I'm gonna be honest with you. I ain't gonna be at the bank too much longer. This is the last job I would ever work for because this stuff is going in a direction that I don't necessarily. I always said to myself, whenever I have to start doing things that I don't like at the bank, I'm leaving. 30 days later from that conversation, I was gone. Why is this stuff important today? I didn't have to step out on faith, y'all. When I left Bank of America, I didn't have to step out on faith. In fact, I realized how silly I sound when I said, man, I got to get up enough courage to just step out on faith and just do it. You don't want to step out on faith and do nothing, y'all. You don't want to step out on faith and do this stuff. Why? You can't pay your bills through this faith, y'all. You just can't. Actions without work. Y'all know the saying. So what am I saying? Start learning the business from your job. It's teaching you business with everything that it's giving you. It's giving you everything right now, full-fledged. When you get information from your job, all right, take your steps. Think about that. Start taking steps. Because when it's time, it ain't faith, it's you doing what you got to do. Why? Because you're going to work, you're going to lose money by going to work. Think about what I just said. And if you want me to put it in perspective, that day when I woke up and I had to make my yearly salary in a month, and to be exact, it was the 26th day of April. I never forget, if I would have went to work that day, I would have lost easily 15 grand. It didn't make logical sense no more, y'all. It didn't make logical sense. I couldn't even wrap my brain around losing that type of money. I couldn't process how it feels to try to lose that type of money. That was a lot of money, especially to me at that time. Can you imagine you going to work losing $5,000 if you go to work? That math don't math to me, y'all. That ain't the math that I like. So get out of the motion of the survivor mode, or keep telling yourself, I'm gonna leave my job at one day. I just gotta step out on faith. No, you don't. You just gotta start taking the steps, thinking, researching, putting action behind what it is you're trying to do. And when the time comes, you bounce. The faith that you said you got to step out on, put it into yourself. Have faith in yourself that you're not going to go hungry, that you're not going to put your kids in a position where they go hungry, or they're not going to have clothes on their back or a roof over their head. Put yourself, that faith, into yourself so you can understand that you're not going to go without. At least your kids ain't, your spouse ain't, you not. Put yourself in that position. That's where the faith need to go. You need to start believing in yourself. You've already done this one time or many times. Before you got that job, what you were doing? Looking for work. Why were you looking for work? So you can put food on a table, clothes on the back, a roof over their heads that you provide for. So what did you do? You went and found work to get money to accomplish that. You mean to tell me if you don't have your job today, you just gonna sit around and do nothing? No, you're gonna go out and you're gonna find ways to get the necessary resources so that you can provide for the people that you say you care about and love the most. But that's just me, y'all. I'm a dude on the internet talking. When I left the bank, was I scared? 100%. I was still 100% scared, but y'all know my motto. If you scared, do it scared. I know when nobody in my house gonna go hungry. I know I wasn't gonna take my family back to where I've been in my life. I knew that. And that's just what it was gonna be, y'all. There was nobody gonna make me believe nothing different. The next thing I would say is this. Me going through this process and on that 26th day of April, making my yearly salary in the month, I still was thinking. And you know what I got in the mindset of? I said to myself, I'm pretty good at numbers and trends and all this stuff. I made my yearly salary in a month. Guess what I did when I made my yearly salary in a month, y'all? I put a year worth of living expenses away. So if I was living off of $55,000 a year, at that time it was more than 55, but I was probably living off of probably somewhere around about $100,000 a year. That's what I was living off of. You know how you do when you make some good money? You just get more expenses. So when I made my yearly salary in a month, I put away my yearly worth of expenses away. My plan was the next month, when I make my yearly salary, because I'm on target of doing it, I'm going to take and put another year worth of living expenses away. And every month that I make my yearly salary, I'm going to put away a year worth of living expenses. Keep in mind, I'm the person that's sitting and telling you that the bank is not a holding facility. It's a lending institution. My bond wasn't there yet, y'all. I still would put my money in the bank, even though the FDIC was telling me $250,000 is all they was going to insure. So, you know, I got smart. I'm putting my money in this bank. I'm putting my money in that bank. Appreciate your family. I'm putting my money in this bank. I'm putting my money on this bank. I'm putting my money all over here. Anytime I get ready to go to that 250 grand, I'm just going to put another bank. I wasn't thinking per account. Think about what I just said. I had in my mind that if I work for my last name and not my first, and I'm making my yearly salary every single month, if I do this for the next 12 months, which I can survive for the next 12 months, making my yearly salary a month. If something go wrong, I can make it past a year before something go wrong. What would that mean for me? That means I have 12 years worth of living expenses put away. So if the business, all the business just collapsed after year one, I would have 12 years of living expenses to figure it out. Think about that. The deal with having multiple banks, in my mind, at that time, it was the FDIC only insures up to $250,000 of your money. So if the bank went under for any reason, they would give you $250,000 and write you an IOU for the rest until the next bank buy them out. So by me having different banks, my mind was all these banks ain't gonna go under at the same time. You get it? What's up, family? So in my mind, I kept saying to myself, if I go through a year of this, I got 12 years of living expenses. That's enough time for me to get whatever I need to get together. I can invest in something. I can do this. I can do that. I can bounce back. I got 12 years to bounce back. Think about what I just said. That was my mindset. No one heard this stuff before. No one even really understood it. So when I started going live on these platforms and y'all would hear me say, man, I got 36 years of living expenses put away. That's what I was doing, y'all. Think about that for a second. Think about that. It blew my mind. I had all type of stuff going. I had a toilet paper company. I was into real estate at the time. I had some apartment complexes. I was day trading. I was doing some everything, y'all. That list is deep. Some things that I was doing that's legal that I can't share on social media. I had a lot of stuff going on. Think about that for a second. I never forget this. I came on live one day, and some of my day one people, we've been on live going now for 66 weeks straight. I never forget this, y'all. I came on live and I said to the masses of people that was on my live at this time, y'all, I made one move today and it has changed my life forever. Forget those 30, 36 years of living expenses. For the next 1,000 years, everybody in my bloodline gonna have a head start on life. Now, this probably was in we probably was at week 25 when I said this. I want y'all to understand what I just said. It went from I'm putting my yearly living expenses away to I ain't got to do that no more. That don't even make sense. Well, it was a good idea. It was a good plan that I had put together, but there's something better. There's something better. Think. Then y'all started hearing me come out here talking about them whole life insurance policies. I had policies way before then, but you heard me talking a little bit about that. I was already buying land, but something had clicked, and you heard me talking more about land. Uh-oh. Life changed. It changed like overnight off of one move. Think about what I just said. I can remember coming on these lives and like the very first couple of lives and saying, hey, y'all, I got right now, we got about 40 some acres of land right now, y'all. Hey, y'all, we just bought 85 acres, y'all. Hey, y'all, I can remember coming on live doing that. I can remember that. Think about what I just said. What clicked for me was the stuff that I learned at Bank of America that didn't have nothing to do with what Bank of America was teaching me. It's the stuff that I was witnessing. It's the stuff that I was observing, not because they was a bank. It had me witnessing things from a multi-trillion-dollar company on how to conduct business. And why does that matter? Your company that you work for right now, how much is your company worth? Is your company worth thousands? Is your company worth millions? Are they worth billions? Are they worth trillions? They worth. Whatever the job you work for right now, and your company that you work for right now, whatever their work, imagine that's who teaching you business. Nah, you don't need a allodial title, family. You don't need that. We're going to talk about that too, because it's going to go through this whole transition. I got you. But they teaching you business. I was learning how to conduct business from a multi-trillion-dollar company. There ain't a coach on this planet that's going to outperform that multi-trillion-dollar company. There's not a mentor or a guru that you know that's going to outperform that multi-trillion-dollar company or multi-billion-dollar company, or hell, that multi-million-dollar company that you're working on. Your job is the best coach you can ever have in life Your job is the best mentor you can have in life. Why? They paying you, him, her. They paying all y'all. They conducting business. Think. When it clicked for me that I had then learned business from a multi-trillion-dollar company, that next day I came on live and said, y'all, I made one move. It has changed my life forever. That's when it clicked. It was game over. Now, people would say, it's because you're at the bank. No, it was because I was working a job for somebody else's last name. It could have been any company. I learned that Bank of America had 258,000 employees. I knew that out the gate. I learned that Bank of America understood that Bank of America had 258,000 employees. 90% of their employees, they gave insurance policies. I'm going to say that again. I learned that Bank of America, as I already knew, had 259,000 employees. 90% of them, they gave a free insurance policy. Think about what I just said. How many of y'all are on jobs right now where your jobs then gave y'all a free insurance policy? I'm listening. You work a job, you got health benefit, right? You pay for that, right? You pay for medical, dental, vision right now today. You got benefits. And if you don't have benefits, that's a different conversation. But if you got benefits and you got an insurance policy at your job pay for it. When I realized that that was happening, I said, "Ooh, this is crazy to me." Y'all pay for life insurance too? Bank of America was a good company. Bank of America was a great company, y'all. Think about what I just said. Now imagine that $50,000 insurance policy that Bank of America had on me. When I left Bank of America, they didn't cancel it. When I left Bank of America, they didn't cancel that insurance policy on me. I realized that I had insurance policy on myself outside of the bank. I realized that my wife, I had a policy on her. My kids, I had policies on them. I'm paying the policy. I control it. When I realized that, I called up to the broker that actually did my insurance policy. And we had a long conversation around beneficiaries and making this make sense. We had different trusts and all these different things. I asked them, what if I want to make the beneficiary of all the policies that I own, because I'm paying for them, even for my wife, even for my kids, even for my mother-in-law, even for my brother, even for my sister, even for my dad, all these policies that I'm paying for. What if I wanted to make the beneficiary the trust? Y'all know what my broker told me? Y'all know what he told me? Yeah, you can change it. I said, okay, so I got to get their permission. He said, no, you pay, it's yours. You pay for them, it's yours. You can change it whatever you want to change it to. Really? All right, how long that's going to take me? I'm thinking like 6 months, a year. Give me 2 minutes. He changed it in that instant. When I got off the phone with them, I'm going onto the site looking to see if it's there. It's not updated yet. It wasn't updated at all. It took some time to update. But if something would have happened to one of those people, that money would have been going to my trust. And I was the only person that had to say, this is what I wanted to do. It was game over, y'all. It was game over. Sound like a head start on life to me. But I got to thinking, all these different policies that these companies have, they're not whole life insurance policies all the time, y'all. Sometimes they just peasant insurance. They spend $2 and probably go get you a big old policy. It made me understand that even though if you leave the company and they don't cancel it, as long as it's not in the immediate review period, they got about 2 years on it. So if you leave this plan before them 2 years up, guess what, boys and girls? Nobody hears this stuff, y'all. These are the things that started making me be like, man, it's a big world out here. And there's a lot of stuff that we just don't know. We ain't got a clue. So he switched this stuff over to the trust. I was happy about it. I went and talked to the attorney down about my trust. I wanted to make this stuff make sense. The attorney that, my attorney that I talked to with the trust, she told me that it's the best move you can make. I said, why do you say that? So that's what the wealthy people do. Well, why didn't you tell me this when I was setting up my trust? You didn't ask. What do you mean I didn't ask? You didn't say that's what you wanted to do. We did what you said you wanted to do because you came in and you told me you needed a irrevocable trust. You told me you need a revocable trust. You came in here and told me what you wanted versus sitting down and just telling me what you had going on and telling me what all you want planned for the future out, even if it's not right now, and give you some examples on the best thing to set up so we could have created the perfect trust for you. Why did I go in there telling them what I wanted to do? Because I heard somebody on social media told me I need this type of trust. So I went in there and told them that's what I needed. I asked somebody on social media, I was talking about trust. What's the best type of trust should I get? And they told me this type of trust. And I went in there and asked for that type of trust. So the attorney, you paid them. They just gave you the type of trust you asked for. That person that I asked that question, what type of trust I need, they don't know your situation. They didn't know my situation. So since I went in there boldly with my chest out, telling them this is what I needed, they just gave me what I asked for. So you're going to hear a lot of different times when people ask me about what's the best type of trust to get. Go sit in front of an attorney that specializes in trust, family planning, right? Estate planning. Tell them your current situation. Tell them what you're trying to do in the future and let them create the perfect trust for you. Because what I may think is a good trust, it might be a good trust for what I got going on. It might not be a good trust for you. You might decide that you need a trust strictly for land. I may tell you that I have trust set up strictly for insurance policies. The only thing in this particular trust right here is straight just an insurance policy. There's nothing else in that trust but that. When I leave this planet, this trust is automatically going to a nonprofit organization. Why? Because it's the way I set it up. Because it's what I needed for that particular trust. You ain't got that type of situation going on. I asked this person the other day, they were telling me about their trust and all the stuff they're doing and insurance policy. I said, okay, what type of insurance policy you got? Well, I got a whole life insurance policy. I said, okay, that's dope. How much is it for? It's for $75,000. Oh, that's dope. He like, but I want to set up the type of trust you got. I'm like, well, you can, but I don't know how this is going to benefit you. For you to just say you got the type of trust I got? That don't make sense. I got multiple trusts. Well, you can tell me what I need to do to set up the type of trust you got. Well, I can't tell you all of that, but what I can tell you to do is Go get you a $10 million whole life insurance policy. Man, I can't afford no $10 million whole life insurance policy. Well, stop trying to compare yourself to people that you don't know their situation, and stop getting advice from people to give you the direction on what you need to get, and go sit in front of this freaking attorney and tell them what you got going on so they can create the right thing for you. That stuff got to make sense somehow, y'all. Think about what I'm sharing, y'all. I remember after having that conversation, sitting down with the attorney after the fact, me and my wife, and I can remember her breaking stuff down to us, and we had a trust for years. When she broke this certain stuff down to me that I'm about to share with y'all right now, I had never heard this stuff before in my life. Never. When she started breaking things like, hey, you know, in your trust, any cash over $12.92 million when you leave this planet will be taxed at 40%. I ain't never heard that before in my life. It didn't even make sense. I'm like, it already been taxed. Why are you going to tax it again? When you leave this planet, any cash over $12.92 million in your trust will be taxed at 40%. What are you talking about, woman? This stuff blew my mind. Then she started showing me all these different things. She said it used to be $600,000. They raised it up. I know in some years they're going to talk about lowering it back down again. So if that happens, we're going to talk about that too. What's up, family? Doing well. Then she told me, because I was just like most people, man, I ain't put my money in no bank no more. I got my insurance policies. I'm paying for my insurance policies, and I'm going to put my money in my trust. Now I understood I still was buying land. When she broke down to me that if you got money in your trust, it's just a checking account with the trust name on it, it blew my mind. Here I am. I didn't work at the bank for 20 years as an executive without a college degree. I guess me not having a college degree made me miss that one. You hear people all on social media all day long talking about, hey, you need to put your money in the trust. It's just a checking account with the trust name on it. Y'all, it was so crazy. And I was coming on live doing this too. We had to go through every bank. We had to go to every bank and take our name off the account and put the trust name on it. Would you believe the wealth manager in the bank did not even understand what I was talking about? They had no clue. They're like, you can't do that. I'm like, yes, I can. I just did it with this bank. I know y'all can do it. The branch manager, the wealth manager, when it got the branch manager said, I've heard we do this before, but I've only done it once. I've been at this bank for 15 years. What? What are you talking about? I know you can do it. I just did it with this bank. I had my attorney help the branch manager at that bank walk them through it. Do I need to call the attorney, help them walk you through it? No, we have a trust advisor here, and we just got to get them on the phone real quick. And once we get them on the phone, they'll be able to show us how to do it. Would you believe we in the bank for 2 hours? They call the trust manager, and the trust manager tell us, you can't do that. The trust manager of this bank. He said, I ain't never heard this before. You can't do that. You the trust manager. It made me realize everybody and their mama going to these wealth managers at these banks and they ain't built wealth for themselves. Everybody going to these trust advisors at these banks and they ain't even got no trust themselves. These people working a job. They trading time for money. They breaking the very first rule of being wealthy. Wealthy people trade money for time. These people are experts at the products that they sell. Think. We finally got to a place at that bank where we had to go back office, send in the little piece of paper to the back office, and they would file it. And once they file it, everything in the system would be updated. It took almost 4 hours for that to happen. This was the first bank that we went to after the first bank. We still had 10 more banks we had to go through this with. Nobody hears this stuff, y'all. Why am I sharing this? My attorney started breaking down to me the reason why you changing this stuff over from yourself, because you know how I come in here and you say, hey, I don't take nothing personal. You don't take nothing personal, y'all. I need you to start understanding that you operating in private and public. You operating in private and in public. What are you talking about, private and public, ma'am? Isn't public personal? Isn't private personal? What are you talking about? You either operating in your business, which is public, or you operating in private, which is your trust. Blew my mind, y'all. This stuff it blew my stuff I had never heard of before in my life. I was about to start going through a process that I didn't heard on social media about me having a trust. I got a family living trust, and I going to get this business trust. I'm gonna have this business. I got this land. I got the rental property. I got this stuff going on. I'm gonna take my business. I'm gonna put it inside my trust, and I'm gonna pay myself 5%, and then the other 95% I'm gonna give to my family living trust, and I ain't got no taxes. That's what I was about to do, y'all. She was breaking this. She said, "Well, that's silly. Why are you making your public business private?" I said, "Because of the taxes." He said, "Come on now, you worked at the bank for a long period of time. So let me ask you a question. When you go in front of a banker and you're trying to get any fund of funding, what is the two things that the bank's going to look at?" I said, "You're right. They're going to look at your willingness to pay and your ability to pay. Your willingness to pay is your business credit or your personal credit. Your ability to pay is how much money you made. If you put your business inside of a trust and pay yourself 5% and then give the other 95% to your family living trust, you didn't earn no money. You didn't earn anything from your business or personal. How you gonna get funding? You're not." I said, "But this person on social media said that." That's what they said. Like, that's dumb, y'all. You know, when you go to the bank and you show that you earned some money, the bank will loan you 5 to 6 times the money you earned the previous year. So you telling me you earned 100 grand, you're gonna put it into your trust because your business is there. You're gonna pay yourself 5%, other 95%. You just got that $100,000. Now your family trust paying all your bills and you broke off of that 100 grand. Or you're gonna take that 100 grand that you earn and go to the bank and get $500,000 to $600,000 in funding that's not taxed because it's a loan. How much tax you had to pay on that 100 grand? 30 grand. I'm gonna take that $500,000 loan that I actually and pay 30,000 on that 100 grand. Now keep in mind, they ain't taxed on this 500 grand, but they're gonna charge you a whole bunch of interest. I don't give a damn if it's 50% interest. Why? I get to write off the interest too. So until I make $750,000 on that 50% $500,000 loan that I got, I ain't taxed. I can turn that 500 grand easily into $1.5 million, boys and girls. What does that mean? 750,000 of that 1.5 ain't taxed. That 7.5 gonna have business expenses. I'm gonna get those business expenses all the way down 300 grand of that. I'm gonna have $450,000 that I gotta pay taxes on. I don't care about giving Uncle Sam, I don't know, $200,000 out of the $450,000 I made. It went my money. Imagine me having to give Uncle Sam $200,000 or $450,000 of the money that went mine to begin with. Nobody hears this stuff, y'all. No one hears this stuff. So as my attorney breaking all this stuff down to me, I'm saying to myself, all right, so how does this work? If it's not public or private, you can't have it, y'all. If it ain't public or private, you can't have it. And then I started thinking about them days and them years at Bank of America. I got to thinking about all those different things that Bank of America used to do for your boy. Had me learning so much stuff. I said, well, my business stuff, I can put that in my business checking account. Why? I can pay it with the business. Easy. Now, my personal stuff, I got to put this in my trust. What's all personal? I got to eat. I got to have a vehicle. I got to have a roof over my head. I have clothes on my back. I started saying, I got to have all this stuff. My attorney said, that don't make sense. What type of businesses do you have? I said, I got different type of businesses. I buy land. You know, we do shapewear stuff. You know, we got toilet paper company. I do content on social media, but you know, I don't really count that for the most part, but I do content on social media. I do all type of stuff, y'all. She said, it's crazy to me that you ain't connecting the dots, Mr. Banker. That's what she called me, Mr. Banker. When you conducting business, do you not eat? I said, yeah. Well, your business buy y'all food for the employees, right? They didn't do that at Bank of America. I said, yep, they did. Okay. How many employees you got? Well, I got, you know, at that time it was like 30 employees. She was like, okay. Are you and your wife an employee? I said, no. Yes, y'all are. Y'all employees. Oh. How many kids y'all got? 6. How many of them over the age of 14? 4 of them. They employees too. Huh? You feeding your employees every day. It blew my mind, y'all. I'm over here losing my mind because I'm saying Bank of America was doing all this stuff. We stopped going on vacation, boys and girls, and started taking business trip, boys and girls. Then I got to talking about this vehicle. Man, I got a vehicle, but you know, I do need another vehicle. Well, your business need a vehicle, right? Let's look at tax code 179, boys and girls. Thank you, baby. Wife showed up in here. Can't wait with Keisha, y'all. Let's look at the business, y'all. Your business can afford to buy a vehicle. Your business need a vehicle. It need to weigh over 6,000 pounds, and it need to be used 100% for business. Now, you already got a vehicle that's your personal vehicle. So this vehicle can be used 100% for business because you got a personal vehicle. You can't say I'm using this vehicle 100% for business and you ain't got no personal vehicle. So wait, you tell me that little piece of a car that I got out there that's paid off, that I paid $5,000 for, that's my personal vehicle? You got it. You got it. You said my wife getting your body right with the program. Shout out to my wife worked miracles now. She's a miracle worker. I ain't gonna front on her. She's the truth. I said, so what I gotta do again? Y'all know I'm slow. What I gotta do again with this vehicle? I gotta have my business by it, and it gotta weigh over 6,000 pounds, and it gotta be used 100% for business. So the only time I can drive this vehicle is when I'm conducting business. She said, yep, 100%. I said, okay, well, I still won't be driving that vehicle that much. She was like, well, you said one of your business buying land, right? I said, yeah. She said, land everywhere you go. Land is everywhere you go. You always looking for land. You buy land. That's one of your businesses. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Y'all ain't connecting the dots yet? I started connecting the dots quick. I couldn't believe I was hearing this stuff. This stuff had been in front of my face the whole time. Think about what I'm saying. I said, my wife got a shopping problem. She on my live right now. Don't get mad at me, baby. My wife got a shopping problem. That gotta go in my trust. That's private. No, not write off. Well, the truck is a write off for sure. But you gotta pay attention. Some years is 100%, some years is 80. Gotta pay attention. But my wife like to shop. And my wife ain't selfish. She be shopping for me too. That's why I be having on all these pretty clothes and these pretty shoes. That gotta go in my trust, right? She said, it depends. You don't do nothing in marketing? No, I don't do nothing in marketing, but we've been talking about starting a marketing company. We started talking about the marketing stuff. That didn't make sense. He said, well, if it was a uniform or something, then that would be different. I said, but wait, we do content on social media. We do content for social media. Does that count? She said, is it one of your businesses? I said, yeah. Zamo 103 is one of our businesses. It's one of our businesses. She said, yeah, you can write off your clothes on that. It's one of your businesses. Content. I said, ooh, it's game over, y'all. She was like, you got an office at home? I said, yeah, we got an office at home. She got an office and I got an office. She said, yeah, y'all can write off that office space. I said, but wait, we do content on social media. My wife be in the gym too doing content. So you can write off that square footage too. I said, wait, I be at my bar, in my little man cave. I be at the pool table. I be in my movie theater. And I could do content in all these different places. You can write off all that square footage. What? Go ahead and consult with your CPA, though. Think about what I'm saying, y'all. Let me give a pause real quick. All y'all gurus on these social media platforms, shout out to y'all. It ain't nothing in none of y'all courses that's giving people the type of information they're getting today. And they getting it for free. All right, let's get back to it, y'all. Oh man, y'all listen to what I'm saying. I don't think people understand. If you are a person that want to go get you a trust, stop asking people on social media. Stop asking people that sit around you what type of trust or what's the best trust to get. Go sit in front of that attorney. Depending on how complicated your trust need to be, you're gonna spend anywhere from $1,500 to almost $5,000, boys and girls. It's okay. It's okay. I promise you, it's the best money you will spend in your life. I promise you that. And don't get me to started to talking about you doing layers on trust. Oh, don't get me to start talking about that. We ain't gonna do that. That's a different conversation for a different time. Maybe for you and your attorney. Yeah, those people that be going through the stuff that Wesley Smite go in, they be trying to avoid taxes, boys and girls. Listen, We law-abiding citizens. We want to pay taxes. We don't want to pay them, but they told us we got to pay them, and we law-abiding citizens. We paying taxes, y'all. Layering, layer, L-A-Y-E-R. Layers. That's a different conversation. Think about what I'm saying, y'all. No one hears this stuff. No one hears this stuff. So we get through this process of this trust. I'm asking 100 million questions. 100 million questions. Because I wanted to understand some things that I never understood before. I wanted to understand some things I never understood before. Like, how do these wealthy people stay wealthy for so long? Because they tell us all the time, if you come into some type of money or you make some type of money, by the third generation is gone. That's what they tell us. And I started realizing that the reason why they keep wealth so long is because they ain't got no money. This is how the wealthy people stay wealthy forever. They never have no money. Ever. The minute they get money, they put it out there to make more money. So they're getting rid of it as soon as they get it. You know how when you get money and they say, that money gonna burn a hole in your pocket. You can't keep that money in your pocket long enough. The reason for that is because you taking your money and you giving it without getting any money back. I ain't talking about change. Because wealthy people have the same problem. As soon as they get some money, it's burning a hole in their pocket. They got to get it out of their pocket. They got to get it out there to make more money. So what do the wealthy people do? They put their money into things that they're going to get a guaranteed return on their investment, and they just keep putting their money into things that they're going to get a guaranteed return on investment. The only functionality of the money that they're getting after their business expenses and their taxes, the only functionality of that money is to make money. I hope y'all caught that. I can see it now, Daryl. Shout out to that. I appreciate you too, family. It's because I'm looking at multiple platforms. I apologize. Think about that for a second, y'all. The only purpose of money is to make money. So after the business conduct business, the business got expenses, the business got taxes, the money left over is going to zero before December 31st. This is how wealthy people think. I'm getting rid of every single dime. It's going to two places. A percentage going to the trust checking account. Why? So the trust can pay the trust bills because I ain't got no bills. Uh-oh. The rest of the money is going to zero doing what? Buying land. Why? Because they're not making no more. Land is the only thing that only goes up in value and don't go up and down. Think about that. What else do you need money for? Your business is conducting business. Your business got expenses. Your business got taxes. The money that's left over after taxes and expenses, a percentage going to the trust checking account so the trust can pay the trust bills. And the rest of it is buying land. What else do you need money for? The trust is paying the trust bills. They ain't got nothing to do with you. And the money that you put inside the trust to pay the trust bill, that money is going to zero by December 31st. In fact, it's going to zero every month. Think about what I just said. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. So I know people ask, what do you mean you got no bills? I'm walking around in a 7,000 square foot home right now. I don't own this house. One of the trusts owns the bills. They own this property. I don't own it. So that means I ain't got no bills. The trust got bills. You get it? You get it? Well, it's still your money. It's your trust. It's this. It's your... No, it's not. I ain't even got a checking account. I'm gonna say that again. I ain't got no checking account. Uh-oh. Why? I don't need no money. The church got a checking account. Am I authorized signer on there to do what I need to do in there? Yes. The business got a checking account. Am I authorized to do what I need to do with those different businesses with those checking account? Yes, but they ain't mine. Well, how all these people be getting in trouble with all this other stuff? People be getting locked up for taxes and all this other stuff. People go to jail. Businesses don't. I'm going to say it again. People go to jail. People go to prison. Businesses don't. When all that stuff happened with the mortgage fraud and all the other stuff back in that 2008 time frame, y'all know how many people went to prison and how many people went to jail? How many businesses went to jail? How many businesses went to prison? Not a person. Uh-oh. Nobody hears this stuff. So I try to get on live and just explain this stuff so y'all can just go down the rabbit hole a little bit. How do you go down the rabbit hole? Think about that. After you pay yourself through the business, do you pay taxes? Yeah, you got to. 100%. Yeah, pay taxes every pay period. Take the money. You have to pay yourself a reasonable income. I made $16,000 a year. 16. That's not a reasonable income if you're making a whole bunch of money. Jeff Bezos, Amazon, multi-trillion-dollar company paid itself $86,000 a year. What makes it a reasonable income based off your bills? I ain't got no bills. So the money I get is free and clear. You get it? Hopefully you pick that up. Hopefully you pick that up. Hopefully you pick that up. No one hears this stuff. Say the business got bills? Sure. 100%. 100%. 100%. 86,000 a year. 86. And he run a multi-trillion-dollar company. Why? He ain't got no bills. What book do you read for this? That's a great question. We have 600 people. We didn't drop some people on the lives between all the lives. We got 600 people on these lives. I know some of my day one people, y'all done read the book already. Y'all still reading the book. But there's a powerful book out there. A powerful book out there. You said the one he sells? There's a powerful book out there that you should read. And I do sell this book. I do sell the book. And I'm about to sell it to y'all right now. Y'all ready? Everybody write down this book. It's a book called Your Brain. Y-O-U-R, brain. Your Brain. That's the name of the book. Your Brain. That's the name of the book. Your Brain. I know it sounds silly. And I'm laughing because it's funny, but I'm for real. The book is called Your Brain. Thank you, LA. Your Brain. That's the name of the book. Now, you can't buy this book on Amazon. You can't go to Barnes & Noble and get the book. You can't even get the book from my website. I'm about to show y'all how to access the book for free. I'm going to show y'all how to access the book right now for free. Now, I know this person thought I was going to sell them some, but since he said I was going to sell them some, I'm going to give it to y'all for free. All 600 people in the live right now, I'm about to show you how to get the book for free. For free. Just because he thought I was about to sell something. I've been going live for 66 weeks straight, ain't sold nobody nothing. I'm going to give this to y'all for free too. Watch this. Thank you, D. I want everybody in the live to close your eyes right now. Close your eyes. You, close your eyes. Close them eyes. And think. Dream. Dream, 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 dream. Till you get scared and it make you wake up. You got access to the book. You just got access to the book. You driving? You might not be able to open your eyes again. Don't close your eyes driving. Don't do that. We want you to be around safely so you can access it. Dream, y'all. That's how you're going to get that book. That's how you're going to get it. One of the worst things you can do, y'all, is ask somebody, can you tell me 3 good books to read? Can you tell me this? Here's what you got to remember. Time is more important than money. Time is more important than money. Your time is the most valuable thing that you have. I don't care how much money you got. If I tell you the 3 books to go read that I wanted to do based off of my vision and my dream, you might go read those books and not want to do nothing what I wanted to do at all. You just wasted your time by reading the book that wasn't going to benefit you anyway. See, when you start to dream and think about all the things you would love to do, powerful things that you want to do, no matter how crazy it is, when you wake up from your dream, you just got to start researching how to make your dream happen. And while you're researching how to make your dream happen, it's going to lead you to 1,000,000 books. Time, people. That's the gift. I promise you it's the gift. And why buy a book, y'all? Why buy a book? When right here in your local library, which I don't know how long we're going to have libraries. I don't know how long they're going to last because people don't be going to libraries no more. They want an instant. Read the book to me. Give me the Audible. Go to the library, y'all. I heard, I could be wrong. I heard in the non-fictional section in the library, it's against the law to put false information in those books. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true, y'all. I don't know if that's true, but I heard in the library, in the non-fictional section, it's against the law to put false information in those books. You telling me I can't go to the library in the non-fictional section, sit down and read those books for free? Just to see if it's real? Come on, y'all. I'm just a dude on the internet talking, y'all. I ain't college educated. I barely got a high school diploma. I'm definitely not the show up as marble in the bag. I just use common sense. I'm on these lives. I ain't trying to sell y'all nothing. I'm trying to provoke thought. That's it. I'm trying to make you think. Think. I'm trying to make you think, y'all. This is why you're stuck in your rat race. You won't think. You're in survival mode, so you're not thinking. If you think, your job will lose an employee. We didn't talk about where you starting your job. We didn't talk about why you're at your job. We didn't talk about leaving your job. We didn't talk about what you're doing once you leave your job. We've talked about what you do after you've been away from your job forever, how long you've been gone. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. The final thing that we're going to talk about right now, and I'm going to wrap up, is the thing that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks because people keep asking the same question. And I'm going to keep on giving them the same answer. The answer's not going to change. It don't matter if you like the answer or not. It's not going to change because the truth is the truth. And the truth can never be considered disrespect, boys and girls. Just can't. So let me say this. If you want to operate the same way the wealthy people operate, and forget the wealthy people, if you want to operate the way you want to operate, and what do I mean when I say operate the way you want to operate? Here's what I mean. If you hit the lottery today, would you do something different than what you're doing right now today? I'm going to ask that question one more time. And this is interactive portion of this conversation or this dissertation. If you hit the lottery today for $100 million, what would you be doing? I don't know what's going on with you, family. Turn that off. If you hit the lottery today, what would you doing? If you hit the lottery for $100 million, would you still go to work tomorrow? What would you do? There are a bunch of people in the live that are saying flat out they will be doing some of everything. They'll be traveling. They'll retire. They'll move. They will go buy them a new car. They'll do a little bit of shopping. They'll go help out some family, some friends. They'll be doing some of everything different right now today. If you hit for $100 million today, they will be doing something different. Think about that. If I hit the lottery today for $100 million, boys and girls, I'll be doing the exact same thing that I'm doing right now today. So when I say this process is a simple process to take, and it'll change your life forever, and you'll start to realize that money ain't really real. You'll start to realize the only purpose of money is to make money. That's it. It'll be game over, y'all. You said you'll be like Kanye? I like Kanye too, but I wouldn't be like Kanye. Kanye don't seem, I don't want to talk too much about him. Shout out to him, but I don't know if Kanye is really free, y'all. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't be doing what Kanye doing. I'd be doing exactly what I'm doing today. Nothing would change. Nothing would change, y'all. Like, think about this, and I ain't gonna stay on that Kanye thing too long because I do like Kanye though. I ain't gonna lie, I do like him. But the one thing that happened with Kanye, and it made me be like, oh, that's ugly. I heard Kanye say he is worth $11 billion. That's what I heard him say. I heard him say he worth $11 billion. And then he made some crazy statements. And in less than a week, he went from being worth $11 billion to $400 million. It blew my mind. How you go in less than 24 hours, 48 hours, a week, being worth $11 billion to $400 million. That right there threw me off, y'all. It threw me off. And then what made the icing on the cake for me, he said, and shout out to him, I like him a lot. He said, I think it was Chase Bank froze $75 million of his money in his account. I said, How is it possible you got $75 million in the bank when the sign on the door when you first walk in says FDIC, and I know they only short the $250,000. It ain't happening. Not knowing what I know. I know the bank is not a holding facility. I know it's a lending institution. I said to myself, I can't be like Kanye. I can't do that. That don't make logical sense to me. But that's just me. That's just my way of thinking. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. My point is, you're right about that, family. My point is, I'm going to do what the banks do. I want to be like the banks. I'm going to do like these super wealthy people be. I'm not talking about like these wealthy people y'all be talking about. Y'all look up the world wealthiest people live. I think today is Bernard Arnault. Yesterday it was Elon Musk. Y'all be like, nope, I want to do what they do. No. I want to be like Mr. Nathaniel Phillips. I want to do what Mr. Nathaniel Phillips does. I don't think people understand that. I'm going to say that one more time. If you Google right now today, wealthiest, richest person alive, I think it's Bernard Arnault right now at $234 billion. I want to be like Nathaniel Phillips, y'all. Nathaniel Phillips worth $500 trillion and he ain't on this list, y'all. He more wealthier than they companies. They companies worth $2-3 trillion. He worth $500 trillion. They were telling me about some cat over there in Saudi Arabia that's worth $5 trillion. Nathaniel Phillips is worth $500 trillion. And he not on the list. People ain't never heard of before. That stuff makes sense. I want to do what they doing. So guess what, y'all? I do what they do. I do what they do. Nah, he ain't no soccer player. The soccer player got millions of dollars. I only think he a big and not big that yet. He might be. I said trillions with a T. 500 trillion with a T. I don't think people understand. With the T, boys and girls. 500 trillion. Think about that for a second. You say you couldn't find them? But the reason why you can't find them is because if you look up Lord Jacob Rothschild, who passed away last month, RIP to him. If you look up Lord Jacob Rothschild, who passed away last month, RIP to him. Nathaniel Philip Rothschild is his son. Uh-oh. See, I always ask people, why is this person not on the list? I can tell you why. They ain't got no money, y'all. I can tell you that Elon Musk and Bernard Arnault, they ain't got no money either, y'all. None of them do. These people are inspiring to be like Mr. Lord Jacob Rothschild, rest his soul. Mr. Nathan Rothschild, rest his, congratulations to him. Think. Okay, let's put the pieces together. Remember what I said that my attorney told me. If you have over $12.92 million in cash in your trust, when you leave this planet, it will be taxed at 40%. Think. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Bernard Arnault. When you look at their net worth, why is it fluctuating? It's going up and down all the time. Why? Because it's based off of the stock of their company. Think. They ain't got no money. Because they understand any cash in their trust over $12.92 million when they leave this planet will be taxed at 40%. And they don't want to get hit with that 40%. Per trust. Think about what I just said, y'all. Watch this. This is the reason why Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, you've heard them firsthand say on meetings or interviews where they both have said when they leave this planet, they leaving all their wealth to a nonprofit organization. They don't want to get hit with that 40%, boys and girls. Think. Now, when you hear that, you say out the gate, what? They got their own nonprofit organization. They giving it to themselves. Y'all, the IRS more smarter than that, y'all. Come on. Come on now. They more smarter than that. That's what y'all heard. They gonna get taxed out the wazoo if it's their own nonprofit organization. I already gonna hit them in the head. I ain't doing that. What I heard is cash over $12.92 million in your trust when you leave this planet is taxed at 40%. Land in your trust is not cash, so it's not taxed. Uh-oh. Land in your trust when you leave this planet is not cash, so it's not taxed. What I heard was they traded all their money in for land because they understand you make money when you buy land, not when you sell it. Well, how does that make sense? Who they say is the largest landowner of farm in America? Bill Gates. Wait, huh? Who do they say is the largest landowner of farm in America? Who is that person? Bill Gates. He owns 275,000 acres of land. Why did he do that? He understands land in his trust when he leave this planet is not cash, so it's not taxed at that 40%, boys and girls. He's not the only person that understands that. You know what Warren Buffett land portfolio looks like? You know what these wealthy people land portfolio looks like? They understand this, y'all. So when you hear me say things like, before last Wednesday, me and my wife owns 242 and a half acres of land that we ain't get no loans on. We paid cash for it. As of last Wednesday, we added 1,157 acres of hunting land out in Mississippi to the portfolio. That puts us at 1,399 acres of land that we own. Because you make money when you buy land, not when you sell it. Think. Nobody hears this. Then what's the first thing somebody say? You should go get a allodial title. Yeah, come on, y'all. Y'all keep listening to these people on social media and they don't even own an acre of land. They ain't got a clue. They ain't got a clue. No, it don't matter where. They ain't got a clue, y'all. Go get you a allodial title. Y'all know that title only legal in 2 states, right? Nevada and Texas, right? Here you are out here in Alabama. Here you are in Georgia. Here you are in New York talking about you own some land and you got a allodial title on it. Y'all, it don't matter. I think, Lux, I don't know if you're in here, but I think it was the state of Wyoming versus this family out in Wyoming that had a allodial title on their land. The state won. It was a public need, boys and girls. The state of Wyoming owned their land now. The title didn't stop it, y'all. I hope y'all get what I'm saying. Don't fall for the nonsense that people tell y'all on social media and they don't have to live with the results. Think. When in fact, you could have just went and bought you some agricultural land and said, forget those land patents and these titles. That don't make no sense. It's agriculture. My state don't require me to have 10 acres minimally, and I can put it in what's called a conservation. I'm getting a huge tax break, and I'm in that country for the next 10 years, and ain't nobody taking my land. Uh-oh. Nobody hears this stuff, though. Think about what I just said. So what happens when a person like me go buy 41 and a half acres of land cash, put it, taxes on it, $60 a year, 60, and we decide to build a 20,000 square foot primary home on there and a 5,000 square foot guest home on there, you would say, as soon as those properties go on there, your tax is gonna go through the roof. They said $3,000, but it won't go to that $3,000 for 10 years. Why? Because we in that contract for 10 years. So I'm paying $60 a year for this 25,000 square foot properties. Uh-oh. Now, by the time the 10 years are up and they do their review and they get ready to charge me this 3,000, what's going to happen on at least those 5 acres that they're going to carve out? We're going to have livestock on there, by going to these livestock auctions and paying $196 for an 800, 900-pound cow. It cost me $196 for a 900-pound cow. You know how much you pay for a steak at Ruth Chris? Go get you a porterhouse, $110. And that steak, how many pounds? How many ounces? What is it? You got you a 16-ounce steak? How many 16-ounce cuts can you get off of that 800-pound cow? Think. But before I do that, guess what's happening, y'all? I'm going to put that livestock on my land. Another tax break. I got 10 more years to go. Guess what's going to happen before that 10 years? Burial site on the 5 acres. What's going to be the taxes? 0. The rest of the 36.5 acres of land going to be in what? Conservation, boys and girls. Think. Nobody hears this stuff. They just be talking. But they not actually doing this stuff. Again, boys and girls, I'm not telling y'all what I think. I'm telling y'all what I actually do. So what am I saying today? Y'all done heard me give y'all a scenario from point A all the way to point Z, but you still don't understand how you can do this. I've explained how you can do this process from Section 8. I'm going to say it again loudly. I've explained how you can do this process from Section 8. I hope y'all picked that up. Depends on the size of the animal. I think in some states, if you have for every large animal that you have to have an acre of land. For every small, I think it's like, say if you're getting chickens, small animals like that, I think it's like maybe 5 or 10 per acre or something like that. But every state is different. But we've talked about how to do this process with Section 8, y'all. It's not about money. You don't lack money. I promise you, if you ain't heard nothing else that I done said this whole time, money is not your issue, y'all. You just lack information and taking action with the information that you got. We've talked about how to do this from Section 8. We've talked about how to do this from $8,000 a year. We've talked about how to do this stuff from $15,000 a year. I ain't talking about savings. I'm talking about that you make a year. We've talked about doing it from $40,000 a year. We've talked about doing it from $60,000 a year. But I know on social media, everybody makes 6 figures a year because y'all rich. We done talked about it from $100,000 a year, y'all. It don't matter. You living off the money. That's enough. You got to stop putting your money into nonsense, boys and girls, and go back to what your ancestors used to do. No matter if you look like me or not, all our ancestors, they had it right. You got to start putting your money into things that your ancestors put their money into. This is how you win in this world, and you don't have to be concerned about the nonsense. Why? Because you're building a plan that makes you recession-proof. Uh-oh. You got to do what your ancestors did, boys and girls. What did your ancestors do? They made sure they had food, water, shelter, clothes on their back. Ugh. If you can make sure you have food, water, shelter, clothes on your back, anything outside of that are all the things that you want. You don't need them. So I'm going to say this one more time. Food, water, shelter, clothes on your back. Everything outside of that is just a want. Nobody hears that, but that's the truth. So let's bring this into a form. Let's get this out of the 1500, 1600, 1700, 1800, 19. Let's get this out of the old times. Let's get this into 2024. You said crypto? No, family, that ain't it. I just said what it was. Food, water, shelter, clothes on your back. Let me ask you a question. You say crypto is what you need. Let me ask the question. Can you eat cryptocurrency? Can you eat it? Now you can go buy food with your cryptocurrency, but can you actually eat cryptocurrency? Is cryptocurrency gonna cover your body with clothes? You can go buy clothes with your cryptocurrency, but are you gonna have clothes on your back? Is it cryptocurrency? No. Is cryptocurrency providing shelter for you? Now you can go pay for shelter, but is it shelter? It's not. Can you drink cryptocurrency? Because here's the reality. For all my cryptocurrency people out there, I got love for y'all. I do. I know y'all give y'all a hard time sometimes because y'all give me a hard time. But you can reach in your cryptocurrency bag and go purchase food, water, shelter, clothes on your back, right? Why not just go get those things instead of going all the way around the world to get it? If I have food, water, shelter, clothes, and the only thing you have is cryptocurrency, and cryptocurrency be the currency that we're going to start to use, guess where your cryptocurrency is coming? Back to me. Because when you go get food, guess who you got to go to? The person that got the food. When you go get clothes, guess who you got to go to? The person that got the clothes. When you decide to provide shelter with your cryptocurrency, guess you got to go to? The person that got the shelter, the person that got the water. You're going to go spend all your money with your cryptocurrency investing, and you got to bring it right back to the person, the landowner that owns all these things that you're going to have to use your cryptocurrency to get. So I ain't got to learn how to trade. I can go get these 4 things that you going to need, and I'm going to get it anyway. That's just my thought. I could be wrong. So let me say it again. We've talked about doing this process from the most minimal way possible with how much money you earn. If you work a regular job, it does not matter. You're living off of it. You make enough money. If you retire, you're living off of it. If you work a part-time job, you're living off of it. I don't care what the situation is, you're living off of it, y'all. Think. It depends on what you got going on. You really got to go sit in front of an attorney and tell them your situation. They'll be able to break it down for you. I can't just tell you which one it is because I don't know your situation. You got to remember what you hear people on social media talking about with these holding companies and putting inside of a trust. These are people that are trying to avoid taxes, y'all. You don't want to avoid taxes. You're going to get hit in the head and you only stagnating your business because you're making your business private when you put it in a trust. You need your business to stay public. You want your business to be public. That's the truth. What they be talking about, what they be trying to say, they don't really be having the money to do it. When you hear people say, take your holding company and put it inside of your business trust, and then take the money and pay yourself 5%, and then take your rest of it and pay the 95% to your family living trust, what they really be talking about is the foundation. If you go set up a good foundation, it'll cost you anywhere from $65,000 all the way to $100,000 to set it up. They ain't got the money to do that. Appreciate the family. That's why they say go get you a business trust. The people on social media that you're listening to, and that includes me too, y'all. I ain't exempt. Go research this stuff. Go fact check this stuff. Because I promise you, you'll start doing these different things that they tell you on social media. And again, that includes me too. Remember, they ain't got to live with the results. You do. Go fact check this stuff, y'all. Just go fact check it. That's what I say. So let's get to it, boys and girls. All right, I'm not gonna get distracted, but I'm gonna take this last one. So we in here talking about how to change your life, and you're asking me about R. Kelly or P. Diddy. Shout out to you, family. I hope you come up with an answer for yourself. What's wrong with folks, man? I don't get it. So let's get into it, y'all. I thought that was comical. It tickled my soul, y'all. That's hilarious to me. But hey, some people think pickle tastes better than cucumber. Do you? No, you good, family. That's funny to me. So for all my people that make six figures a year, put a one in the chat. I get it. I mean, there's some people out there telling people to research, but they know people ain't gonna do it. But if you make minimally $100,000 a year, six figures a year, put a one in chat. Man, the ones are flying. Yeah, people do be focused on the wrong thing. They really do. But it's all love. It's all love. All right, we got a good amount of ones in the chat. Now, I know as a person that used to make multiple six figures a year, I know how much confidence it put in your soul, how much you able to brag about making six figures a year. Congratulations, boys and girls. You're broke. Say it with me again, y'all. Congratulations, you're broke. You're broke. I laugh every time now when I think about how much I used to brag about making six figures a year. Y'all, I was broke. Ooh, that's gonna die me. I gotta charge this real quick because this phone about to go. Boy, they would have been mad at me. That one would have went. You're broke, y'all. I ain't mean to spoil you. You're broke. You're broke, boys and girls. Hopefully, y'all caught that. All right, let's get that over. If you make $100,000 a year, how much money do y'all make an hour, boys and girls? Let's see if there anybody. It don't matter if you're my day one people, my old people. It don't or new people. If you make $100,000 a year, how much money do you make an hour? $12 an hour, $50 an hour, $45. Y'all got some different math. $11 an hour, $50 an hour, $11.41 an hour, $14 an hour. Y'all got some different maths. It should only been one or two things. Somebody hit it on the nose for me. If you make $100,000 a year, you make $11.41 an hour, and that's before taxes. I'm gonna say that one more time for the person all the way in the back. If you make $100,000 a year, you make $11.41 an hour before taxes. Nobody hears that. That's just the truth. There's 8,760 hours in a year. If you divide your $100,000 by 8,760 hours in a year, it equates to $11.41 an hour. And before somebody say, hey, I don't work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, your light bill do, your phone bill do, your car payment do, your mortgage do. Imagine we just came off of the month of February and you still got charged for the full 30 days. The only thing that ain't working every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is you. When you start to understand that, you're going to realize you're in between blessings. Imagine you making six figures a year and don't realize you make $11.41 an hour before taxes, but you living paycheck to paycheck making six figures a year. Think about what I just said. I used to brag about making six figures a year, still living paycheck to paycheck while making six figures a year. All the people that make six figures a year, I guarantee you, for the most part, you're still living paycheck to paycheck. You're about 30 days away from being homeless. No one hears this stuff, but the truth, again, it can't be considered disrespect, y'all. Don't hurt the messenger. I'm just giving a message. Message. Oh. So now that we got that understanding that we broke, what do? You gotta do what the banks do and what the wealthy people do. And what I realized, the bank and the wealthy do two things. Two things that are exactly the same. It blew my mind when I figured it out, y'all. And when I realized those two things were policies and properties, it was game over. It was game over. Now I know people gonna say, nope, the bank lend money. Nope, the bank buy gold and precious metal. Nope, the bank put their money in the blockchain. I know y'all gonna say all this stuff. I get it. But let me ask the question. If you were trying to be the perfect investor, what would that do for you? That means you would have to figure out how to get a guaranteed return on your investment, right? So if I told you there are two things out there that I found that you can get a guaranteed return on your investment, no matter how good or bad an investor you are, would you not always put your money there? That's what the bank did. The bank put their money into two places that get them a guaranteed return on investment, y'all. Policies and properties, boys and girls. Now, when I say policies, I'm talking about whole life insurance policies. Imagine you go get this big old whole life insurance policy. I ain't talking about no $100,000 policy. I'm talking about a $5 million policy. I'm talking about a $10 million whole life insurance policy. And you put your money in it every single month, getting compound interest on it, tax free. I'm going to say that again for the person all the way in the back. Imagine you getting compound interest on the money you put in your policy, and it's tax free. I don't think nobody heard that. Now, if I put my money into cryptocurrency, I got to let it hold up for a time frame. And then I got to take it out a certain way to try to sneak through that tax barrier. Instead of me paying almost 50%, I can get somewhere around, I don't know, like 10, 12%. I'm doing this tax free, get compound interest. Make that make sense? That's called a guaranteed return on my investment. Now, on that whole life insurance policy, I ain't just got a death benefit, I also got a living benefit. It's called a cash value. What does that mean? I can borrow against this cash value tax free. So you don't have a $10 million policy? I know, I do. I'm about to show you how you can get there. Watch this. Don't matter how much money you make either. I'm going to show you how you can get there. Watch this. Imagine that. Imagine that, y'all. Tax-free, boys and girls. Guaranteed return on your investment, y'all. And you paying yourself back with interest. Imagine that. So if I go borrow $100,000 from my whole life insurance policy, the $100,000 still in there getting compound interest, tax-free. And when I decide to pay it back, as I'm paying it back, I'm paying myself back with interest. That's still gonna get compounded, tax-free. Watch this. The other things out there is what? Land. Why? Because they not making no more, boys and girls. Land is the only thing on this planet that only goes up in value and don't go up and down. When I realized that the banks and these wealthy people were doing these two things, I said to myself, I got to start doing this process and just see if I get the results. Would you believe I'm getting the results? You got all these gurus out here teaching you how to do what? Crypto, how to start up your trucking company, security business, all these different things. They selling you a course and you ain't getting the results. I started doing what the banks and the wealthy people do and started getting results in real life. It blew my mind. It blew my mind. Now, I know what people say. Appreciate you too, family. I know what people gonna say. Well, that means once you buy the land, you're gonna have all these taxes, and you gotta build houses on these land, and you gotta do all this other stuff. We've been conditioned to think one way, boys and girls. Yet when you sell it, let me give you an example. Today is Sunday. Tomorrow's Monday. A lot of people going to work. I don't care if you work on a business of your own or you're going to work your 9 to 5. You going to work. For those who have a job, because I know I got a lot more people that don't own business on here that do. Let's talk about it. You working a job, you're going to go and interact with a customer on Monday. You're going to get money from a customer on Monday. You're going to take that money that you get from your customer and give it to your job. You're going to do this for 10 business days. On that 10th business day, your job is going to take a fraction of the money that you didn't gave them over the last 10 business days and give a fraction of it back to you in the form of a direct deposit. I don't think you heard me. So for those people that said they make 6 figures a year, minimally every single day that you go to work, you're making $10,000 a day and giving it to your job. And on that 10th day that you didn't work, that direct deposit is coming after you didn't gave them $100,000 within 10 days is $3,100. Uh-oh. And it's going into what? Your free checking account. Direct deposit. Because you think it's a holding facility. But people out there like me understand it's a lending institution. So guess what we do? We go to the bank and ask for your money. And guess what the bank do, y'all? They give it to us. The bank give us y'all money. And guess what we do with y'all money, boys and girls? We buy toilet paper. We buy soap, bottled water, forks, spoons, napkins, pigs, chickens, cows in bulk, and then turn right back around and sell it right back to you for 5 times what it's worth using your money. We ain't selling it to you. This stuff ain't made sense yet. Land, you make money when you buy land, not when you sell it. You only can make money off of houses, right? Off of commercial properties, right? You got to build something. We own, me and my wife, 100 acres of pecan trees. We ain't selling pecan pies. We got a contract with a whole nother country. We're about to get our 3rd check. They want the shell and the oil on the pecan. I don't think people heard that. You make money when you buy land, not when you sell it. You know how much money people pay to hunt quail? I know somebody, a close friend to the family, that got 1,000 acres with 100 cabins on there. They be coming out to hunt quail. They booked a 2025. They charge these people $15,000 a week. Nobody hears this. No one hears this stuff. A week. You know, if you got timber on your land, the timber company will pay you $4,000 an acre to come and cut your timber. You still own the land. You know how much money people make for solar panel farms? You know how much money people make for solar panel farms? We up under this loan process right now for some little land we got down here in South Georgia with this major cell phone company. We're negotiating right now to try to get cell phone towers put on the land, y'all. Because you make money when you buy land, not when you sell it. Think. I had already owned that land down there. Nobody hears this stuff, though. The one piece of land that we bought, 3 acres, we paid less than $100 grand for it. I can't even say the name on the social media platforms without getting kicked. We bought 3 acres of this piece of land and turned it into 7 figures in 2 months. What? We didn't flip no property because you make money when you buy land, not when you sell it. No one hears this stuff. How do I know it to be true? It is almost 5 p.m. on the East Coast. So for the most part, we can all agree that everybody done had their breakfast, right? Everybody done had maybe lunch, right? What y'all gonna eat for dinner today? I'm curious. What do y'all eat for dinner? Somebody said seafood. That's dope. You're a vegan? Okay, that's cool too. What you have for breakfast? An omelet? Okay, that's dope. Water, chicken, amazing. You fasting? Impressive. Fruit? Amazing. All this stuff coming from somebody's land. Everything goes back to the land, boys and girls, including you. Nobody hears this stuff, though. Everything comes right back to the land, including you. You make money when you buy land, y'all, not when you sell it. So let's get through this process real quick so I can wrap up. What's up, family? Let's get through it real quick, y'all. You say I'm still yapping? You know I'm yapping, family. I appreciate you coming back to hear me yap. You already know that barrier site a real thing. So all my beautiful people that said they make 100 grand a year, all right, we all on the same page. You're broke. We get it. Stop bragging about it. You're still broke. It ain't making you no high value man or no high value woman. You're just a man. You're just a woman. That's it. Because if you lose your job, then what? Your status don't change. You're the same person. Watch this, y'all. Watch this. Watch this. If you make $100,000 a year, you bring home somewhere around $65,000 a year. Give or take. My math could be off. Bring home about $65,000 a year. That's after taxes, right? That 65 grand that you bring home is only going to 3 places, boys and girls. 3 places. 3. Basic living expenses, the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and land. Now, keep in mind, if you don't make 100 grand a year, it don't matter. Your money's still going to those same 3 places, boys and girls, because you're living off of it. That's the gift in all of this. So 60% of your money that you bring home after taxes is going to basic living expenses. 25% is going into the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and the last 15% is going into land. I'll explain. Breaking the number down off of that 100K, because that's where we started, right? If you got $65,000, and again, my numbers could be off a little bit because I ain't got no calculator in front of me, and it's still sunlight outside, and I went to night school. Out of that $65,000, $40,000 is going into what? Basic living expenses. Basic living expenses. Not a penny more, not a penny less. That's how this stuff works. That's going to leave you with what? $25,000 out of your $65,000. That $25,000 left is only going to 2 more places. 15 grand going to the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford. Why? Because your health is your wealth. Everybody heard that before, but nobody ever finished the actual statement behind it. You've heard your health is your wealth. And it's true. The rest of it goes, and I'll say it in totality, your health is your wealth. The healthier you are, the bigger the whole life insurance policy you can buy. Uh-oh. Your health is your wealth. The bigger you are, the bigger the insurance policy you can get. Period. 15 grand going into that whole life insurance policy. That's going to leave you with 10 grand left over, boys and girls. Now, you already said you live in paycheck to paycheck. I get it. You are. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Suck it up. With that 10 grand, you're going to go buy 2 acres of land. And before you say, I can't even buy 1 acre land with $10,000, I know. That's why I say go buy 2. I ain't stutter. In every state across America, and we done pulled them up on these live platforms 100 million times, you can purchase 1 acre land on average for $5,000 or less. It includes every state across America. So for the old people that say, but I live in California, that's the first state we pulled up. It's land out there. You can go get 2 acres of land for $5,000 guaranteed. I live in New York. It don't matter. You can go get 2 acres of land for $10,000 out in New York. I live in Georgia. I do too. I bought land in Georgia for on average $2,000 an acre. I live in Florida. I live in Texas. I live in Illinois. It does not matter, y'all. Every state across America. It does not matter. It does not matter. You don't have to put your state up. It does not matter. All the states in America, on average, you can get 1 acre of land for $5,000 or less. It don't matter. You're not buying land in the city, y'all. You can't afford it anyway. Remember, land is the only thing that only goes up in value and don't go up and down. You don't own no land in the city right now. You're buying land 35 to 45 minutes out from the city. And before you say don't nobody want to live all the way out there. If you own a property right now and you have to go to the city for any reason, it's taking you 30 to 45 minutes. I know right here in Georgia, right now, if you're driving to the city of Atlanta right now and you own a property with land, you're making easily a 35-minute ride to the city right now today. But nobody hears that because you've been conditioned to think something that ain't even real. It's an illusion. It's a straight up illusion. Me and my wife bought 41.5 acres of land, 2 miles from Highway 75, 38 minutes from downtown Atlanta. The average price on an acre is $4,000 on that property. Uh-oh. Nobody hears this stuff because they think they know. I'm not telling y'all what I think. I'm telling you what I do. Now, I don't do no one-on-ones or no class and nothing like that. Again, I don't trade time for money, and I'm encouraging you not to. I just give it to y'all right here for free. The replays will be up at Zabo 103 on YouTube. So let me finish. Watch this, y'all. Watch this. Oh, I'm explaining how you start. I'm just getting started on how you start. You bring home $65,000 a year from your $100,000. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you make less than that or more than that, the process is still the same. Your money going to 3 places: basic living expenses, the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and land. Period. So I'm gonna say it one more time for the people in the back. If you bring home $65,000, $40,000 is going into basic living expenses, not a penny more, not a penny less. That's gonna leave you with $25,000. $15,000 going to the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford. $10,000 buying 2 acres of land. Now you live in paycheck to paycheck. And the one thing you got to understand, you got to learn, when you don't have money, the only thing you have is time. And when you're trying to get somewhere, AKA build some form of wealth or whatever you want to call it today, if you don't have the money to accelerate it, you got to spend time getting it. Time is your most valuable asset. Watch this. You're going to do this process for the next 10 years. That sounds like a long time. But I want you to blink your eyes real quick. And just real quick, the first thing, y'all got to write it down. I just want you to think about this. Blink your eyes real quick and think about where you were at when you got the news in 2020 about what was going on. Can you remember it? Can you remember what you were doing when you got the news about what was happening in 2020? Just blink your eyes real quick and think about it. Blink. I remember exactly where I was at. I remember exactly what was said. I remember exactly what I was thinking. Can you? That was 4 years ago, boys and girls. That's how time is flying. That was 4 years ago. Uh-oh. Plus, 10 years, while it seems like a long time, you about to work on your job for the next 30, 40, 50 years and then retire and realize you can't afford to retire. And you're going to have to go back to Walmart being a greeter because you can't afford to retire. What I'm talking about is you're going to do this process for the next 10 years and you will never have to work for anybody else for the rest of your life. Think about what I just said. Basic living expenses, the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and land. Let's go on and get through this process. I'm going to be doing this for the next 10 years. What does that look like, y'all? If I'm buying 2 acres every single year, I'm putting 15 grand into this policy every single year. In 10 years, I will own 20 acres of land outright. Uh-oh. If I'm putting 15 grand into this policy every year, I'm getting compound interest on that money tax-free. In 20 years, I will have minimally $200,000 that I can borrow against tax-free. Uh-oh. I hope y'all heard me. Y'all ain't seen how y'all ain't ever gonna work for nobody else for the rest of your life yet? No? I'll keep going. What I'm gonna do is simple. I'm gonna borrow this $200,000 and I'm gonna take a half an acre of the 19 acres that I own and I'm gonna build me a modern duplex. Let me give some little credentials behind this. As a person that then built 29 homes in a 52 subdivision that me and my wife been building out our own pocket, I know it takes half of the value of a property to build it. And before somebody say the cost of material went up, so it's the value of homes. They went up together. Don't be silly. So if I take $200,000 and I build myself a modern duplex, that's gonna get me a property worth 400 grand, minimally. Uh-oh. Still ain't figured it out yet? Y'all like to build stuff on this land. I'm trying to give y'all the simplest process that you can go. I done built me a modern duplex. I done took that 200 grand in a loan on year 10, and I done built, they about to go, I got it. Let me charge y'all real quick. I don't want no problems out of y'all. I'm gonna take that 200,000. Okay, I'm gonna take that 200,000 and I'm gonna build myself a modern duplex. Once I build that modern duplex, guess what I'm gonna do? Well, let me ask y'all a question. Right now, today, 35 minutes out from the city major city in your state where you live at, if you went to go rent a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, new construction apartment, how much would the rent be? How much would the rent be? If you went to go rent a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, new construction apartment, 35 minutes out from the city, how much would the rent be? $3,200, $1,500, $2,500, $3,000, $3,100. Amazing. $2,100. Easy. That's easy money. Oh. Yeah, you're gonna borrow in 10 years, 100% family. Let me ask y'all another question. 10 years from now, how much would a new construction, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath apartment cost? If it'll cost minimally $2,000 right now today, in 10 years, what's that gonna be that rent? What you think gonna be the cost of that rent in 10 years? 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, new construction, 10 years from now, what you think that rent gonna be? Easily $4,000. Easily $4,000. Think about that for a second. Watch this. Let's lowball it, y'all. I got this modern duplex. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna rent it out for $2,500. That's 10 years from now. That's gonna be the cheapest apartment around in the whole state. It's gonna be $2,500 a month. So what I'm gonna do? The left side duplex, I'm gonna rent it out for $2,500. The right side, I'm gonna rent it out for $2,500. That's $5,000 a month, boys and girls. Y'all still ain't figured out how y'all ain't ever gonna work for nobody else for the rest of your life? Y'all still ain't figured this out? The money to build a duplex, you borrowed it from your whole life insurance policy. Remember the 200 grand? You borrowed it from your whole life insurance policy. You got the money, tax-free, that you pay yourself back with interest. So I got this $5,000 a month. I'm getting, what I'm gonna do now? Notice at this point, y'all, I ain't saying nothing about partnering with nobody. I ain't saying nothing about no credit. I ain't saying nothing about having a big old savings account. I ain't saying nothing about none of that. At this point, I ain't said nothing about none of that. I said basically from where you at right now today. That is 10 years in. Here's what's the beauty about that 10 years. You will never have to work for nobody else for the rest of your life. Ever. You no longer have anything to do with money. Money won't be your issue. Y'all ain't figured it out yet? All right, let me explain. I got this $5 grand I'm getting a month. Ain't no loan on this home. What am I doing at this point? I'm going to the bank to refinance this property. I'm going to the bank in year 10 to refinance this property. Cash out. We know it's going to be worth more than 400 grand, but we're going to call it 400,000 minimally still, y'all. Still 400 grand. We know the value going up. We still going to call it 400 grand, y'all. The bank going to say, you an investor. We can't give you a 100% loan. We can give you an 80% loan. You got to put 20% down. Good thing you got 20% of it in equity. If the property worth 400,000, 20% is $80,000. That means they're going to give you a mortgage of $320,000. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They're going to give you a loan for $320,000. Who is that money coming to? You. You get $320,000 cash. And it's tax-free, boys and girls, because it's a loan that your tenant's paying back. Y'all ain't figured out how you not going? Okay, let me keep going. How much is the mortgage on $3,200 mortgage? $2,500. My tenant on the left paying that $2,500. That means this other $2,500, it ain't girls. Because you got to get what's called a return on your capital first. You know that $80,000 in equity that you put down on this property, that 20%, you got to get that back first before that $2,500 is taxed. So now I got $320,000 in this hand and $2,500 a month. You ain't never got to work for nobody else for the rest of your life. Y'all ain't figured it out yet? No? All right. You got $200,000 back that it took you to build a property, plus an extra $120,000 tax-free, and $2,500 over here. It ain't taxed yet till you get that return on capital. What are you going to do after that? You got 19 and a half more acres left. You only going to do this 39 more times. Okay, y'all still don't get it. Let me break this math down for you because the numbers are the numbers. I can't make it up. If every time I do this, I'm getting an extra $120,000 tax-free every single time, that means I'm going to get that 40 times. If I'm going to get $120,000 tax-free 40 different times, that's carry the one, $4.8 million tax-free. What job you got making this type of money? I'll wait. What business you got making this type of money? I'm listening. You're going to get $4.8 million when you complete this process, and it's tax-free that your tenant's paying back. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? No? Aren't you? Oh, crap, I forgot. I forget the best part. Y'all remember that $2,500 you were getting over here every single month as well? That ain't taxed yet till you get that return on capital first? You also getting that 40 times. If you carry the one on that one, that's an extra $100,000 a month on top of the $4.8 million. What job you got making this type of money? What business you got making this type of money? I'm listening. Here's what's scary. There ain't a course that you done ever bought that didn't showed you this process. Why? They don't know. They ain't got a clue. And imagine y'all just got it for free. You can start walking down this journey right now today. And the more money you got, the faster this process will be. But let's just say you ain't got no money. You just walking this stuff to the T. I'll come back and circle back with you in 10 years. I promise you, if you follow this process and stay disciplined, your future self will thank you. Your future self will thank you. No one hears this stuff. It will be game over. How can I be so sure and so confident it'll be game over. Last year, I worked 57 hours for the full fiscal year of 2023. This year, I've worked 0 hours. And the plan is complete the full fiscal year of 2024 and work 0 hours. Think. This is the part of the situation that's scary. I'm not giving some type of random blueprint. I'm telling y'all what I did. This is the reason why I get on these lives and give y'all this stuff for free. This is the reason. It's been 66 weeks straight of me giving all these different things for you to just make you think. And the only thing I'm asking you to do is go research and just see. If there's some truth to anything you heard, apply it in your life. There are people in my live, y'all, that they went out and bought 21 acres, 11 acres the other day. I want to say paid $17,000 for 11 acres. I don't know if you're on here or not. If you are, shout out to you again. I got people on my live that's been on my live since day one that started this process doing this stuff for free. I ain't charged them nothing. I don't even talk to them outside of lives. On rare occasion, people will DM me and they'll say stuff to me and I'll tell them. And what do? I just give them the information because there's no competition. I'm not competing with nobody, y'all. And y'all don't need to compete with people. It ain't that deep, y'all. I promise you it ain't that deep. Only thing I'm saying is stop bragging about all these people that are doing all these things that they saying. You don't know if this stuff true. Go out and get your own results. You know how crazy that I used to sound when I was saying, hey, my coach a beast. He got this going on. He got this. He got that. He got this. He got that. I'm just saying all the stuff my coach got. Meanwhile, I used to have nothing. I'm bragging on somebody else's last name. Uh-oh. I think my what's name went out on me, y'all.